3. Hello, and welcome once again everybody to Odyssey of the Dragonlords. A couple of updates to do. Sadly, from here on out, I believe Mitch, who plays Juno, is sadly not gonna be able to make it to the sessions anymore. We're gonna see how we deal with that, but for the meantime, Rescat's player, Rescat player Luke here is going to be fucking taking over for Juno for the remaining of this combat encounter, and until we find a a plot appropriate point to have Juno bow out of the story. We're gonna be seeing how we deal with that throughout the campaign, but for the meantime, the party of the Dawnbringers have made it their life's mission to bring about a brighter tomorrow for the land of Tylea by improving upon the mistakes of the past. This led them to acquiring the vessel of the Ultras, the legendary ship of Estor Arkelander. However, things were not that simple, for the ship was haunted by the souls of Estor's crew. While the party were resting up in this vessel, they were drawn into a horrible dream where they were essentially vassals, thanes to Estor Arkelander, who asked them to take care of some would-be traitors. The party partially listened, but also did not. They allied themselves with one of the spirits and decided to take the fight to Estor Arkelander, attacking him in what was originally a ruse to pretend that they were actually about to execute one of the spirits in front of him. However, they turned the blades on Arkelander. Arkelander, in turn, turned his blades on all of the party. This is still, as a reminder, happening within the strange dream realm that the party was drawn into when during their sleep. However, things might be a bit more deadlier than they might think. What will happen to the party? Well, we're about to find out as I move everybody back to the map that you were just at. We stopped initiative around halfway through the turn order because we were a little bit over our run time, and we needed to end a little bit earlier. So here we go. Can you guys see the map?
Loading in still. Loading.
I'm in here.
Still got 3 level 2 spells. Look at that, guys. Got 1 level 1.
Alright. Since you guys can see the turn order, I believe I didn't actually do this Spectre's turn. At least I believe I didn't. Let me double check that. No, yes I did. This was one of the turned ones. This one runs off the map as it flies off into the dark horizon ahead. There we go. This Spectre flies off the map as well. And now, Estor's turn. Currently possessing the body of Drakgar, Estor is going to puppeteer your body, Drakgar. First of all, at the start of his turn, I have to roll a d6, see if he regains his ability to possess. Which he does.
Oh my god!
With a 6. Oh.
This third back-to-back next. Oh my
god. Estor, currently still in control of Drakgar's body, is going to turn his attention to the nearest creatures. It's going to first turn to the ghost of Skatan, the quartermaster, and attempt to dispose of him. Let's see, using Drakgar's own body. You hear, Derek, you will hear Drakgar's voice speaking, but also being overlaid with Estor's ghostly voice, saying something along the lines of, "Now, let's see what this body can truly do." As he will take its, Damn, you only have like one magical weapon on you, huh?
My first hammer.
It will take with reckless attack at a swing with Pyther's hammer on the ghost next to you.
Oh my!
Like, plus Divine Fury.
One feels bad.
Well, yeah, that's not a lot of damage. He's gonna follow that up with another one.
That's a lot of damage.
-7 from that. For a grand total of, let's see, and then +2 plus. All right, for a grand total of 26 points of damage on Scathlin, the quartermaster. Not actually. You see as Drakgar's body sort of moves in an odd manner that you've never really seen it move before, Derek, as it turns its attention towards the ghost next to him, and with two swift swings takes out like a bit of like a chunk of this ghost's body. The ghost turns his attention to you, Derek, and says, "It's us or him. Choose wisely, outsider."
Said that again. The ghost or Estor?
The ghost.
That include the sheet the. Okay, swing. Okay, all right. I'll choose. I'll decide.
The flying sword is going to turn its attention to Drakgar's body that is being puppeteered by Arkelander, and will attack with advantage. 21 hits for 7, reduced to 3. Oh no, wait, you're not ranging. You're incapacitated while possessed by Estor. Meaning Drakgar is now unconscious.
Wait.
Estor leaves the body.
And Estor's body appears right next to him. I realized the recording screen hadn't catch up with all the stuff that I just did. What's it called?
Forever, it's fine.
For some reason the recording screen shows Drakgar in a position that he's not. Well, whatever. We'll deal with that. That is it for the flying sword, as this one just seems to take one large swipe across the Drakgar's back. You hear him, though his body's still being puppeteered at that moment. You do hear Drakgar's like shout of pain as he seems to fall forward unconscious. This specter, who was hit earlier by a fireball, can now move on to its actual target. What movement do specters had again? It is sadly unaffected by the sleet storm that you have casted earlier, Porunga, as their hovering flight speed prevents them from even being knocked prone by these strong winds. Oof, that's a lot of movement. It's gonna move, dash over here to make it to its ally. Actually, hold on. It's still difficult terrain, my bad. So let me account for that. 25 would be that dash 50. It can just make it here. Not quite outside of the sleet storm as it moves, or at least tries to move a little bit closer to presumably Metheus. You see the ghostly visage of the specter barely visible through the sleet. Last specter was also hit by the fireball. This one is going to look over in the direction of the ones that attacked it with the fireball, and they're going to be moving 5, 10, 20, 25, dashing, making it. Actually, it's gonna move outside of the sleet storm before actually moving through. Took it. Would be able to barely make it like right here. with a dash. That is about it for this Spectre. Exandri.
I think your mic's muted.
Exandri, you might be muted.
My bad.
Boom. Boom.
All right.
Boom, boom.
As soon as my character sheet loads, I have no idea why it's taking so long.
Mine was laggy too. I gotta refresh the page probably.
Oh, it's so laggy, guys. What
No,
is
guys,
reading?
don't.
Okay, so I'm going to take out that last fireball scroll. And where did I put it? It was right here. 20. So Porunga won't get hit by it. That Spectre won't get hit by it. This one does. This one does. This one does. This one does. Mateus will not. And then this one does. Center right here. Ba-ding! No, down one. So Porunga and I will literally be on the cusp of it. Our eyelashes might be a little frayed afterwards.
Just gonna redo your eyelashes. It's not that hard.
Is this
It's a
how you-
lizard. I'll be fine.
how I just marked it? Is that how you want to cast it?
Why does that circle look smaller?
I saw radius. Kind of hard to. When it comes to radiuses, so like circular shapes in a otherwise square grid, it looks a little bit different.
Yeah, but this one should be in it too. Because if you measure from right here, that's 20, 20, 20, definitely within 20.
Give me a second. There we go. That should be a little bit more accurate.
And then move it right one, and then down one.
Right there.
It doesn't look like it hits them, so it's just
Maybe left one?
Can you go left one?
Yeah, one moment.
I care more about me and Porunga. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so like
We'll
that,
do
you
that.
will be hitting. It will be hitting the two next to Porunga and Exandri, and these two others. But you will be missing the one next to Matthias.
That's fine. He'll live.
Okay.
It's
In
full
that
health,
case,
he's fine.
roll me a damage with the fireball, as I will roll you the dexterity saving throws.
Yeah, 20 all of them. Let's go.
So 2 take half, 1 takes full.
I will remind you, they are resistant to fire damage, as is.
I know, but I need AoE spells.
Alright, so let me read those saves again. 22 makes it. What is 27? I have 27. Okay. This one fails. The old attack was resistant. Okay. This one succeeds barely. Takes half, further reduced by half. And this one succeeds. They have further reduced by half. Alright, so you reach out into your satchel, pull out the last spell scroll of fireball that you have, read the incantation aloud, and a surge of fire comes out of your hands as the spell scroll dissipates in your hands, detonating right in the middle of this group of wraiths. Specters rather, creating a detonation that seems to eliminate 2 of them. The one diagonally across from Porunga as well as the one that was a couple of feet away trying to get to you guys, are both disintegrated as
Y'all
the
call me Ghostbuster.
as the burst of fire, though they are resistant to that to the particular element, seems to be enough to actually destroy them for good.
All right. So
Anything else?
Cassie is always just going to ask this because I just want to make sure I do it correct. So that took up a spell slot, so I can't cast another spell if it's a bonus spell.
If well, it didn't took up a spell slot, but it still counts as you casting the fireball spell.
Okay.
Meaning that you can't take a bonus action that is also like a leveled spell.
Okay. Is it a bonus action to like drink a potion?
Correct.
These potions that we got from the Centaurs, what exactly do they do?
I need to specify this because again, it's been a while. People may have forgotten. I allow healing potions specifically as a bonus action. Any other type of potion does require an action.
Okay. I think that's my turn.
Okay. In that case, Drakgar still incapacitated. This specter, the one that is next to Porunga, is going to attempt to life drain you, Porunga, as it reaches out for you directly to your chest.
You got this, Porunga.
Does a 17 hit, Porunga?
Yeah, you know that he's paper. He's got
Yes.
anything above a 10 hits.
Come on, guys.
You take 8 points of necrotic damage, and I need you to make me a con save.
Got this, bro. Come on. Just say love America. Come on. Like I said last campaign.
Alright, 1 second.
Make all you guys read a Constitution just to get your Constitution score high. Thank God.
You make it. You do not need to make another save. I didn't click on the thing. But yeah, you still take the 8 points of damage, but your max health is not reduced by that amount. The ghost realizes that it can't. Earlier, it tried to. I accidentally clicked an explosion over there. Earlier, the ghost tried to attack Estor Arkelander, but he realized very quickly that he can't actually harm him in this body. Meaning that it needs to try the next best thing. Which is right now it doesn't want to be in front of Estor Arkelander. So instead it's going to take the disengage action and move away. Let me see what is the movement speed of a ghost. Alright, so disengage and moves away 40 feet from Estor Arkelander. He's gonna essentially fly behind you, Derek, as he looks over at the animated armor and the flying sword. Says, Asher Scale, Ebony, protect me! That is it for now. This Spectre, I believe this one flew up to meet you, Exandria. This one is also 20 feet in the air like you are.
Yeah, we look like we're dancing on Porunga's shoulders.
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna make sure I mark that so that I don't miss it. There we go. This one's going to be looking over at you and is going to attempt to life drain you, Exandria. Spectre. Life drain attack as it tries to reach out and attack you. That is a 16.
Let me look and see if there's anything that I in my arsenal that I can use. It hits.
Okay. In that case, you will take 6 points of necrotic damage, and then you're gonna need a con save.
Alright, it's a little slow. Give me a sec.
America.
She could not
You
American.
just know that. Like, literally get muted.
Fucking
Porunga knows me, by the way.
Immense.
God damn.
USA. USA.
Anyway, so you take 6 points of necrotic damage, and your max health points, hit points are reduced by that same amount. At least for now. You still keep track of what your health was originally, because otherwise, we'll be here a while just trying to figure out what your actual health was. That is it for this one, as it reaches its cold hand, seemingly facing through your armor, and you see as your very vitality sapped away by this creature. The animated armor is gonna be moving closer to Estor Arkelander, around here, and is going to make its 2 attacks on him, 2 slams. Both missing completely. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. That is it for the animated armor. This is Metius. Metius is gonna look at this fucking thing that is right in front of him, and realize that he does not like the attention of being surrounded by a specter. Well, not surrounded, but being face to face to a specter, rather. Let's see what he can do. Please, Matt, I know you have some sauce. He's currently concentrating on Maximulin's Earthen Grasp. But he... Damn, he really can't do nothing. Matt,
Fireball again.
He's gonna look at you and shout out, "We've seen they're resistant to fire. I think I might have something else, however, that might be able to hurt them."
Do it, bro.
He is going to cast Magic Missile at level 3.
Let's go.
He puts how many would it be? 2 on this one, 2 on this one, and 2 on the one in front of him. So yeah, the one next to you, Porunga, the one next to Exandri, and the one in front of him get 2 magic missiles each. Wait, hold on. No, level 3, my bad. Level 3 is 5 magic missiles. My mistake. So same, except the one in front of him gets 1 instead of 2. So here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are coming up on the recording screen. So 5, 7,
75.
8, 7, 8, and
It's like 20 damage.
okay, yeah. In that case, let's see. So this one, the one next to you, Porunga, is dispelled by the magic missile as it puffs into a cloud of ethereal energy. The one next to Exandri, not quite enough for that. Is still standing, well, floating rather. But its corporeal shape is being rougher and rougher to be maintained. The one in front of Metius itself, also not that great looking either. But still alive. Well, not alive, but you get what I'm saying. Metius, after making this 5 darts of energy hit the creatures, looks over at you, Porunga, and says, "Alright, I took care of the one next to you. Now if you can help either us or them," as he gestures over to the rest of the party, that would be appreciated. Speaking of
I'll
which,
see what I can do.
the specter next to Metius is going to life drain him. A 13. I don't believe that hits even with without shield. Let me double check. No, that definitely would hit. He is, however, going to use his reaction to cast shield to increase his AC by 5, making that a miss. As a arcane barrier seems to erect itself in front of Metius, blocking the advance of the Spectre's hand. He looks over at you, Porunga, and says, maybe you should invest in this. That is it for the Spectre. Derek, it is your turn.
Okay.
I need
Okay,
to
so shut up. Technically, I'm a friend. I just walk away over here.
What?
And I look at Estor and look at Drakgar. I'm like, God dang it. God dang it. Oh, hold up, that's the wrong one. And I cast Healing Word at level 2, since I still got like three levels slots still available.
Okay.
Alright, so Healing Word at level 2. You beep.
You
Get up now.
You get 9 points of health back, Drakgar, and you are now back in the land of the living. Well,
Yeah.
you're still prone, so you will need to get up in your turn, but you are not at risk of dying yet.
And then since I'm doing this,
Oh.
What happened?
Attack.
What?
Yeah. Estor Arkelander will take an up attack on you, Derek, as you move away. You see him kind of look over at you, and he says, "Well, I suppose I better pay you back for that nasty, nasty attempt at mutiny that you tried to hit me with." As he is going to, you see as a whoosh, ghostly spear manifesting his hand and seems to poke at you as you move away.
I use cutting words and say, "Ha! What's a flimsy little spear gonna do?"
Well, that is a 22 to hit. You believe your cutting words might be able to save you?
Maybe, yeah. What is it again?
What is your AC?
AC is 13.
13.
14.
Don't kill me.
To roll an 8 to save me.
I-
To not make it
Wait, hold on. Is it a 13 or a 14?
14.
14. In
So
that
that's-
case, I believe it might be able to save you. No, actually.
Hits if it hits
Yeah,
it makes it
even
equal.
even if you roll an 8 on your bardic inspiration, it would still be a 14, meaning it just still hits you.
Then I'll just use it. I'll just use it to reduce the damage then.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Instead of using it for the attack roll, just use it for the damage reduction.
That is twin. Hold on. Oh, it's not coming up on the other chat. There
Still
we go.
waiting.
That is 23 points of necrotic damage that you're gonna be reducing with the cutting words.
1d8. Is it
yeah.
1d8?
Yes, it's a 1d8.
That is a roll. Jesus Christ.
It's good enough. I'll take it.
23?
At least I don't get the debuff. Some people here.
No, you
God.
take 20. You take 21. You take 21
20
points on necrotic damage.
It's fine. Like I said, at least I don't get the debuff like some people here. Looks at the 3 people who got it.
That is your bonus action and bit of your movement. You still have an action.
Okay. I use my action to grab the sword. It's floating in the air.
That would be more of your item interaction.
I use that item action to grab the sword.
The ghost of Scathan, the quartermaster, looks at you, Derek, and says, Now, strike! Defeat him!
Okay, hold up. Let's see. So I did 5, 10, 15, 10. Make that 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right? 15, 20. That would be like right here. I thought it would cut off right here. It has to be 25 here and then
I mean,
30.
yeah, well, the
25.
sword is not big enough that would impede movement, so you would just be able to move.
Oh, right here, right. I'll go back. So fine. I'll go back there.
Okay.
Oh, come on, let me click my character. Come on. I'll be right here, and I'm gonna use the sword to strike the ghost, trying to kill my friends. Sword against them.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Cannot do this
This
anymore, I got a
counts.
bigger-
This counts as a longsword. Rome, do you have any longswords on your inventory?
I'll make a bard joke, but I can't. I shouldn't make it here.
I mean,
I do have a long sword. It's just just kidding. No, it's good enough. I have 2 long swords. One long sword, one-handed. Long sword, two-handed.
I mean, are you using one hand or 2 hands to swing the longsword?
I use 2 hands since it does it. Well, right here it says long sword, 1d10 slashing.
I mean, in that case,
Sorry.
roll me an attack with the 2-handed longsword. Let me see if that hits.
What should I think? So.
It does. Roll me damage.
God. 9.
Takes 9 points of damage, and so here's the series of events. Just so that it's fresh on everyone's minds. The fight started because one of y'all attacked Estor Arkelander, and now the
And the
things.
same guy is
No,
getting
no.
another guy to betray it.
I mean, hey, you gotta side with the winning side, huh? Estor-
Look, man, I have it's my own it's my internal conflict I'm still going through. Okay, happens.
So what do
Can
you
this ghost
what do you say? What do you say? Like, when you're here's what happens. Derek, you grab the sword out of the air, and Scathan says, "Yes, use it. Attack him. Kill him." And then you turn around, you walk back to Scathan, and just shing, like across the chest.
why do we?
He looks just as surprised as Estor in this particular case.
Bro, I'm just shaking my head.
Estor is looking at you, eyebrow raised, and he's like,
He's confused as fuck.
well, he doesn't say
Don't
anything.
worry, bro, so are we.
Okay, you go. Oh,
He
I got
doesn't
it.
say he doesn't say anything at first, but Scathan kind of clutches at his ethereal chest with like that sort of like gash, in its in his partially corporeal form. He looks at you and says, "Ah, I see. So you're an opportunist. You knew Estor was too strong, and now you're trying to be in his graces." Estor himself then says, "Well, this was an interesting turn of events."
And okay, so I will be performing here, so I want to try using my. I'm gonna pretend it's a ruse, like this was all planned. It was all Derek's big idea. Have his team almost die. Tell them the show.
And almost get us killed yet again.
Shush! It's a ruse, okay? I'm trying to ruse him, all right? And I say, and I grab the sword and I slash him and I say, Ali just never changed. That's it. I use my performance or whatever it is.
It would be more deception because you're trying to
Deception,
deceive.
yes,
You're trying to deceive Arkelander to think it was planned all along.
Yes, so I say, grab the sword, I slash him. They're like, and I say, like I said, my allegiance has never changed. I just like grab the sword and be like, sword.
Wait, so now we're going for the other guy now? We're on Estor's thing?
Shush!
How does Estor look, by the way?
Of course it worked. Of course it works.
He's confused.
He doesn't have a verbal response. He's just kind of like staring at you, eyes narrowed.
I'm like,
Take that as you will.
I use just like And I'm just like, don't you ever attack my friends. Look at the ghost. And I can't use my interaction no more to throw the sword into the water. God dang it.
In fact, future attacks with the sword will be a disadvantage because it's actively trying to wrestle itself out of your grasp.
It's fine. As long as it looked cool and I just see the Estor a little bit, works.
Almost got us killed. But...
Okay.
Shut up and fight, God damn it! Says the person who can't charm anybody.
Juno, awake, really not grappled by the earthen grasp that Matthew summoned earlier. Juno's being conscious this whole time, same as Drakgar. You guys, what does he do?
I'm gonna ask Derek. So, whose side are we on? Are we fighting Estor or
who are supposed to attack?
Just kill the ones who try to kill you. Literally,
they both
minutes ago.
So you
ghost, God damn it!
You
that ghost, the one with the armor, and then that one right here next to me. As I point the sword at
you.
Yes, come on.
All right.
Try not to heal him.
Let's go. If that lets me open his page.
Rush Porunga, it's okay.
Unarmed strike.
Cool.
That definitely hits.
Unarmed strike 24 hits for 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Mind you, because you are, just as a reminder for those who may have forgotten, because you are a level, or Juno is a level 6 monk, I believe that means his unarmed strikes are now magical for the purposes of overcoming resistance and immunity. That hits, deals 6 points of bludgeoning damage, and the ghost is looking barely corporeal at this point, as if it's about to dissipate. 17 hits as well, for another 6, and how does Juno get rid of Skathan the Quartermaster?
He kind of does, I forgot what the move from Mortal Kombat, but what's that? Liu Kang kicks him into the water and then he disappears.
So like a bicycle kick? Is that the
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So Juno, using the earthen grasp hand to maintain his balance, you see him kind of grab 2 of the fingers and kind of push himself forward a little bit, legs first, towards Skathan, and then 2 kicks to the chest, and you see as Skathan's ethereal body seems to cave in as if it's imploding on itself. You notice as when it's getting pushed off the off the edge of the ship, Skathan kind of just shouts, "Damn you, traitors! A curse upon ye!" As he is seemingly vanishes against the edge of the ship. The sword and the armor are still attacking you. No.
Am I standing on the armor?
That's awesome, actually.
Wait, is the sword the only thing left, or where's the armor at?
You see them on the map. The sword is currently trying to wrestle itself out of Derek's grasp, and the armor is still engaging with Estor Arkelander.
Wait, so am I still attacking these ghosts?
The last attack will be at... Nope, that's my character. The sword. Oh!
That hits. Roll me damage. 9 points of damage on the animated sword. Still active. Anything else from Juno?
I think that's it.
Alright, Porunga. So Estor hasn't called off his specters yet. He is still looking at you guys with shifty eyes, kind of trying to figure out what the fuck is happening here. He hasn't called off his specters, but it's up to you. How do you take that?
I look over at Xandri and I'm like, do I still go?
I just
Same.
I just nod my head yes. They attacked us.
Alright, so I'm gonna magic missile this specter in front of us.
Well, it's not in front of you, it's in front of Alexander. It's 20 feet in the air.
Well, yeah, that one.
He's gonna shoot it up the leg.
Alright, how many magic missiles you're putting into this one?
I only have level 1.
Alright, so all 3 of them are directed towards that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me another one. Okay, well, there we go. So, you look up 20 feet in the air, you know, and perhaps avoiding your gaze from what you shouldn't be looking up to, Porunga. And then manifest 3 darts of energy, fire them in a 3-round burst at this specter floating above you. I see all 3 darts make holes in the specter, and it dissipates. Anything else, Porunga?
Yeah, I'm gonna quicken a firebolt at the specter in front of Mitt.
Alright, go ahead.
Rip.
Well, that is unfortunate. Sadly, this firebolt flies way off the mark, detonating like 100 feet away from the specter. Yeah, passing a little bit above its head. Metis kind of looks over to you and says, "I mean, you still got the other one, which is already progress." Anything else?
I'm gonna move right here and end my turn.
All right. Estor Arkelander. You know, there is one final person in this group up here that he hasn't possessed yet.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
Damn, what would Estor Arkelander do?
So we're gonna say that for the rest of the game. What would Estor Arkelander do?
Give us a reason.
He's gonna...
If it's yes, he would do this, then we know it's the wrong thing to do.
He's gonna point his spear down towards Drakgar, who's still on the ground, by the way. You're still kind of laid out on the deck of the Ultras, Drakgar, even though life has returned to you. Estor points his spear down at you, Drakgar, and says, "I trust you've learned your lesson."
Oh no.
Do you answer?
I'll nod my head. Hopefully.
Points his spear at you, Derek, and says, "And for your sake, Derek, I hope that you do not try anything stupid again." He's then gonna turn his attention to the armor and make his multi-attack on the armor. Where's Estor's sheet? Here we go. Multi-attack. He's gonna make 2 spear attacks on the armor, and pow, pow. Oh!
Jeez.
Both hit. 17, and a lot. Let's add up that damage, shall we? 47 points of damage on the armor. You see with 2 quick thrusts of Arkelander's spear, like the spear kind of phases a little bit through the armor, but by the time he pulls out from the second strike, you see as the metal in the armor begins to erode away as it tries to reach out like one final hand to strike at Estor Arkelander. It tumbles down and falls into pieces. He then looks over at you, Derek. He flies over to you, Derek, exiting Drakgar's threat range if you wish to take an up attack.
Nope. Not risking it.
Okay, smart. He looks over at you, Derek, and says, I should possess you for your treachery, but I want to see how you deal with this first. That's it for Estor's turn. The flying sword, trying to wrestle control away from Derek, is going to turn around and swing on Derek himself. Stop hitting yourself. 16. So 16 hit Derek. Derek?
Hold up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 16 hit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it hits.
Pow. Ignore the extra +5. You just take the first 5. You take 5 points of slashing damage as it seems to turn around in your grasp and cut at your other arm.
Cut my wrist. I cut my wrist, guys. I'm gonna live on the edge.
This one over here will make it out of the we'll make it out of the sleet storm. Moving 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. Right here, and it's gonna ready an action on Methius. I'm not gonna tell you what that action already is. Exandri.
Alright, so there's still... I will... 5, 10, 15, 20...
Oh, sorry. Are you flying down towards Methius?
I fly... These two are on the ground, correct?
Well, hovering a couple of inches off the ground, but yeah. They're basically at level with Methius.
Alright, so, I will land on the ground, and my eyes are gonna glow pure stark white again. And, from my symbol, a burst of radiant energy happens again as my, Quetzalcoatl latte, whatever they're called, I've already forgot, sorry, burst from my necklace as the dragon serpent starts spinning around me, and I'm going to use...
Oh no.
Spirit Guardians.
Spirit Guardian.
So this is important because of the way the spell works. When casting a spell, you designate who is and who isn't affected by the spell. Obviously, you're trying to affect the specters here, and not affect your allies, presumably.
Exactly. So Mateus will be perfectly fine. The specters are the targets.
Yes, but...
Oh, I didn't know it had to be that close. Okay, well then can I take that back? Could I be, like, behind Mateus? I thought it was a 10-foot radius around me, not a 15.
No, it's a 15-foot radius around you. For now, you know, yeah, you can be behind Methius. What's it called? I asked the question about the designated targets because I want to know if the sword or Estor Arkelander are affected by this.
If Estor walks in, he gets attacked. If Derek walks in, he probably will get attacked.
Well, I'm not probably, so I need definitives because that's how the spell works.
I'm just... Whew, okay, so my allies will be safe. Estor will not be safe. The specters will not be safe.
Is the sword safe?
The sword and the armor will not be safe.
Well, the armor is no longer active, but yeah. Alright, in that case, I'm gonna roll these wisdom saves for the two specters. They both make it. Taking 3 and 3 respectively. Oof. The specter over on the right side, over here, seems to be not having a great day. It is almost completely discorporealized. That was your action and movement. Any bonus actions?
Ooh, I will shoot a sacred flame at the
Can you do that as a bonus action?
Yeah. Well, oh no. Sorry. I got my skills confused for a second because I also have Spirit Shroud, which is a bonus action, and I was conflicted on which one I wanted to use. So no, you're right. I used my action on my bonus action.
Okay. So is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's gonna be my turn.
Alright, Drakgar. The moment of truth. The sword looks pretty rough. Well, as rough as the sword can look. Estor Arkelander, less so. He is looking at the three of you, Drakgar, Derek, and Juno, with like expectant eyes of like, alright, play it smart now. You can't fuck it up this time.
Derek, cough. I'm gonna swing at the sword with
Alright.
a sorcerer.
Go ahead.
You know what? You know.
You didn't
Oh,
call.
I
You didn't call.
didn't call
You
it,
didn't
yeah,
call
you're right,
reckless. So
I meant to, but I
only
didn't.
two
so
hits. For how much is that? 18, 19 points of damage. Describe your kill on the sword.
I
It's
just
my hand. You
grab it with
bastard.
my hammer, and I smack it, and then it shatters into pieces.
No, I still have it in my hand. Correct.
Yes. I mean, hey. so
So-
here's how it looks like. Drakgar is kind of looking over at the sword and kind of raises his hammer up. You, Derek, you believe, oh shit, he's gonna hit me. So you kind of instinctively put up your arms to protect yourself. But, you know, this happens that the sword is in one of your hands. So when Drakgar swings down, you more or less unintentionally gave him like a leeway to actually destroy the sword without hitting anybody else. So she brings down the hammer onto the sword as it seems to dull and, while not completely shatter, crack and fall to the ground. Or well, maybe not fall to the ground as Derek's still holding it, but it's no longer animated.
Yeah, you have a free sword, guys. Woo!
It is still a dream. The
My sword. I keep
Nightmare.
it. Just.
Upon the sword shattering, and the animated armor being dealt with, Estor Arkelander looks at you guys, and is how do I word this?
Confused.
Well, not even confused. It's like this expression of like, all right, is this it? Are we cool? You know, type of like
Calm down.
expression in his face.
So we're calling off. He's seeing if we're calling off combat.
That's
I definitely will. I don't know about Derek.
I wonder
Whatever
why.
Derek does, that's Derek.
Uh,
Same with you
Three of
now.
us collapse on the floor, but like we're just so tired.
We are disassociating from Derek and Derek's choices.
Shut up. Too bad. Too bad you followed my rules.
Estor Arkelander looks over at the specters that still remain and says something along the lines of, "Back to your duties. We are done here." As the two specters sort of just kind of lower their arms from Metheus and Exandri, and we'll see if they make it out of the fucking Spirit Guardians one last time. Because this would happen on their turn. Roll me Spirit Guardians damage again, Exandri.
Yeah, of course.
Got 20.
Plan worked, guys. Plan worked at least. Technically.
What? This was like a billion times harder than it needed to be.
Look, they died anyway. The plan did work.
This is reason 1 million and why Derek is never going to become captain.
Fails. This one fails. So right as they lowered their arms, you know, upon being told, just return to your duties, we're down here by Arkelander. You notice as both of these specters just kind of and sizzle away
Like
into nothing.
Petolapo is hungry and eats them anyways.
Estor just kind of shakes his head and says, "What a waste." As well, I know Derek, Drakgar, and Juno are willing to drop initiative. Are Exandri, Porunga, and Metheus willing to drop initiative?
Oof.
Why is there a quiet
How does
silence?
Estor look? How does Estor Arkelander look battle-wise?
Fully health.
You did, like, you guys did damage him during like the first few rounds of combat before he started taking possession of everybody. He
Actually, Juno killed him.
he seems to still be hanging on. There's visible damage, I guess, if you can call it that, on a ghostly body, where segments of him seem to be becoming like strands. You know, there's like a visible signs of him actually taking some damage. Although, you know, your team, in comparison to him, looks worse for wear.
They get one-shotted by him.
That's such a great question, to be honest.
It's not a question. Should it be a question?
I kind of want to hurl a firebolts at Derek.
I kind of want to have Estor possess Derek, and then I can
That would
bar to kick him off the boat.
I mean, randomly attacking your allies, that constitutes breaking the oath.
Yeah, guys.
Not if we warn him first, because that's what Derek does.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, I need an answer here.
It's just, it shouldn't be a question. Come on, you know the answer already.
I guess I'll drop.
This is what we wanted. What the freak?
I will keep up my Spirit Guardian as it just rotates around me, but I will not attack Estor. But I am not putting away my dragon.
Okay. In that case, let me just switch us out of the battle theme.
And then I will motion for Porunga to join me over here.
You know what's crazy? Is that right now what you guys are listening is the Assassin's Creed Odyssey soundtrack, which I was listening to last night. Fits to a T for this campaign, but I'm 100% sure it's gonna get claimed.
Monetization, it's fine.
All about the community guide.
Alright, so let's give us some tense ambience here as we drop initiative. Estor Arkelander looks over at you guys. He kind of hovers a little bit away, seemingly around you guys. I'll say Meteos also drops concentration on the Earthen Grasp. Hovers around you guys a bit as he says, "So, you couldn't live with your failure, and that brought you back to me."
God damn it.
He looks at you. He looks at, well, specifically at the three that are in front of him, Drakgar, Derek, and Juno, and says, "I must say, you almost had me going for a moment there. I really thought you were making an attempt on my life."
I'll look at Derek.
Nah. It was just all ruse at the end of the day.
I'll give
Just a
Derek a
ruse
death
at the
stare.
end. Just
Well,
Drakgar.
you certainly played that part convincingly. But now, it seems that Skathan, Davos, and Metron have been dealt with. The traitors are no more. And, whoa, in a very turnaround way, I have some of you to thank for that. I could have done without the casualties to my crew, but I suppose these things happen in war.
Oh well, we're probably heading to another one at this rate.
Quite so. It saddens me greatly, genuinely it does, to see the lives of my men being wasted away like this. But it had to be done. Now, I will ask of you all one last thing before you return to your duties and I return to mine. It is a simple matter, one that shouldn't take too long to think. Do I have your attention?
Yeah.
Do you guys have much of a choice? Yeah.
I'm listening.
Very well, very well. In that case, since you have destroyed the traitors, that means that you accepted the mantle to take upon the new captainship of my vessel. I see amongst you many who perform admirably. However, only one can call themselves the captain. He kinda looks at all of you guys. His eyes, though ethereal as they may be, the pupils are still noticeable, moving around, scanning all of you individually, as if he's looking for something or someone specifically. Almost as if he's gauging your abilities to be a captain entirely through your looks alone. He looks at all of you and says, "Who amongst you will have the honor of becoming my successor? To know power beyond anything you could imagine."
Can I insight check him?
What are you trying to discern?
See if like there's like something sketchy about it. I guess if that's one way to put it. Like he's
A
there's,
bit vague, but I suppose you can.
like he's trying to get us to agree to something that might not be, or like he's trying to deceive us with something. If that makes sense.
Or you're like it's 9 HP.
Okay, I'm not gonna agree with some if there's. Ooh, let's go.
There's something about his words that don't quite ring with the, shall we say, genuineness, if that's a word, that you would want from a person that you're making a deal with. Well, you
like
can't
I'm making a deal with the devil is what he's.
even with a 20, though, you can't pinpoint the exact nature of what is wrong with his words. There is something that you're not quite sure you like.
I'm gonna stay quiet.
None of you? Truly? You would refuse the honor of commanding the most powerful vessel that has traveled across the waters of Tylea?
Question, Estor.
Then,
When you hand over this ship to your successor, you will no longer be a part of the ship?
in a sense, yes.
And you're no longer command of anything it does?
I will not. For while it was a fun time to command this ship and my many associates, and to travel across the land defeating enemy after enemy, fighting battle after battle, at times a journey comes to its end. But maybe that is just a preamble to a new journey.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get a step and I'm gonna look at Esther and be like, Esther, I think I got an idea. You see, you know what's coming up ahead. We're most likely gonna go back to war with Siren. And what just transpired through here looks like your capabilities haven't yet deteriorated just yet. How about this? You help us in the upcoming war. It's most likely gonna happen. And for you, you'll get a vessel, since you guys tried to take our bodies earlier. I mean, you get to see your so-called great whatever how long grandson. Maybe, just maybe, the finishing blow on Siren that we all wanted to do 500 years ago.
He looks at you and says, I'm afraid I have other means of assistance. Ones that don't quite line up with what you would expect. But that isn't to say that I wouldn't be watching over you. I am, after all, and until somebody else takes the mantle, still the captain of this vessel. And at the very least, it will be my duty to see it through wherever this will be taken to. I have my own means. But for now, it sounds like none of you seem keen on taking the deal. This...
Sorry, I'm back. What was the deal?
I mean, you're just taking up the mantle of the captain. Arkelander says, a shame, truly. You all have so much potential. But I suppose that you have already made your decision. Return to rest, my thanes. For the morning brings forth a new dawn.
He said it, guys.
He
inside joke, don't worry. It's an inside joke, don't worry about it.
He kinda looks over to one of you and says, although I do urge you to consider this decision. As he seems to dissipate from the deck. Soon enough, the rest of you begin to feel a sense of drowsiness. Your eyelids become heavy. The smell of the sea breeze seems to disappear as your senses seem to shut down one by one. You fall asleep. Or so you believe. Kinda difficult to tell when it's a dream. However, when you come to, you are no longer in the upper deck of the Ultros. You are back on the hammock room. Give me a moment while I just move you for the time being to the map of the world. You are back on the Thane's quarters, the room with all the hammocks where you all initially laid down to rest. You all slowly open your eyes, drowsy as you may be, and notice that, well, a couple of figures are standing next to you. You see, well, first of all, Kyra sitting on one of the barrels in the room, as well as Lorius, you know, around there, you know, seemingly watching over all of you as well. You slowly come to, and you immediately would see Lorius kind of perk up and turn over to look at Kyra and says, Lady Kyra, they're awake. You guys find yourselves waking up in the in the lower deck of the Ultras. Kyra looks up from her piece of parchment and says, "Oh, whew, you were out for a couple of days. I thought something may have happened. Are you all right?"
Yeah, I had a really bad nightmare.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Almost
I have a question though.
I was saying something. It was
Wait,
terrible.
Why does my foot feel wet? Did the dragon try to eat me?
Lizard Wizard looks around curiously like he didn't do anything.
Smudge.
Lorius looks at you guys and says, "It's well, you fell after you fell into a slumber. You didn't wake up at the time where we thought you would. We tried many different means. Even Lady Kara tried some of her rejuvenating music, but it seems that she wasn't able to accomplish much. It sounded like you were all making noises in your sleep, as if you went through something big. Are you all alright?"
I'm fine. Just a bad dream.
My dream. In my dream, I felt like a hero. Not gonna lie.
You
Kyra,
Let's see. Erica was
You
killed.
definitely weren't in my dream.
Nothing unusual there.
I was a hero in my dream. Felt good.
We fought a bunch of ghosties. We met Estor Arkelander. We fought Estor Arkelander. For some reason, they didn't want to kill him. Not quite sure why.
And it turned into a pretend fight.
That's good, Derek.
It was all. I don't know. I was a good hero in that. I don't know, guys. You might be a little crazy. I think I was a good hero in that. In my dream.
Kyra does seem taken aback when the name of Estor Arkelander and the fact that you were fighting him is brought up. She looks at you guys and says, I'm sorry, you said you fought Estor Arkelander?
Yep. Well, they did. Puruga and I were fighting some Spectre raids while they were playing hot potato with his spirit.
We were originally supposed to fight a different guy, but Derek had this idea of fighting Estor, so then we ended up having to fight him instead. And then the guy betrayed us anyways, shocker. And yeah.
You're talking about? I was the hero of that dream.
That's one.
I was the hero. What are you talking about? I was the hero here.
Well, it sounds like you guys went through the ringer, but well, you seem alright enough, I guess. So, whatever it is that happened, you came out of it on top, right?
Yeah.
BT dubs. Those of you who had HP reduction no longer have it.
Let's go.
It's all a dream.
That did still count as a long rest. You guys were out for for a day.
Or spell slots get rid.
I just want to make sure.
Correct, and any item that was used during the dream is still on you.
Yay.
So everything's
For our
reset.
spell slot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's as if the dream never happened.
Guys, it never happened, by the way. Never happened.
Kyra says, well, there is one thing that you should probably take a look at. You were out for a bit, so the oarsmen, they have actually managed to get us almost all the way to Mitros. We should be arriving shortly, actually.
I knew it. I knew it, guys.
I'm still not quite sure how or why they were still willing to move us out. But, well, I suppose it's a good thing you came to when you did. You must still be a bit exhausted, though you have been out of it for a bit. Take as much time as you need, but do be ready. We will be arriving in a couple of hours. Is there anything I can do?
Should we explore the rest of the ship while we're waiting?
We should be on the lookout though, because isn't this where the Chimera?
I don't think so. I think the Ultros is a bigger boat. I think this monster would know to stay away from the Ultros. Go be
We
fine.
should explore the rest of the ship, though. We didn't really do that earlier.
Well, somebody's got to take control of the ship before we get back to Mitros. Because if Estor gives the same opportunity to, let's say, Gaius, I'm pretty sure he's not going to hesitate.
Don't we
I
have
don't think-
control
I
of
don't
it?
think
We're
so.
just not, we just didn't make the deal with Estor for captain or whatever. Because I thought I remember that we could still control it. We're just not captain, I guess. Or
Porunga, Captain. We told you. Porunga should have said yes.
that
you.
did not sound like a deal we should have taken. It sounded a little sketchy. Probably a good idea we didn't take that.
Honestly,
Estor.
we
Who's
should
the
have just
captain?
killed him. I don't know why you guys stopped fighting.
I
Ma'am,
was pretty banged up. I didn't want to risk.
Killed both of them. I did more healing than
I
you
mean-
did, technically.
All of you have 4 health potions.
Yeah,
It was just all a dream. Don't worry. It's just all a dream. Quote unquote. It was hero. By the way, I said the ninth time. Since we're all in this room, Ikar, why don't you tell about the story between you and Estor? Since we're all here, you can't really get out of this.
Told you that I don't like talking about it.
Come on.
It is not a
he's here.
subject I like touching.
It's me. I was technically there back in the days, technically, and I don't remember, but still.
Then you know
What
what
he asked her?
essentially to spill the beans what happened with Estor Arkelander and her. Kyra says, if you were there back in the day, then you know that Estor Arkelander was a horrible, horrible man. A man that I would much rather have nothing to do with my name.
Sad. I know that. but
Hold up.
I just
say-
read a comment that said Derek has no riz.
Look, so guess what? If I do, we're all gonna die. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm sure she'll summon her Siren powers to
So-
really drown us.
Wait, Cassie has a question.
Yes.
Do we have all of our spells back?
You have all of your shit back, yeah?
Trying to drown me. I swear
Did
to
our
God, it's
HP go back to normal?
Yes, it went back to normal, yes.
swear to
Normal
God.
as in like we got life drained by the race.
Correct, not life drain.
Like, just try and nuke me. I swear to God.
I just say we killed him, guys. Like, I mean,
I mean, you don't even know where
Then-
he's at.
Hi guys.
For
where is
all
he,
you
huh?
know, Estor Arkelander only existed in a dream.
I think we should still explore the rest of the ship before we get to land. And then I'll start heading downstairs, see if there's anything in there.
Well, you're already in the the lower deck, unless in like the last one that is below where you guys are currently at. Just to give you the perspective, I'm gonna show you guys, the lower deck map again. You guys are, well, what I call the lower deck is actually the middle deck. The lowest deck, I guess, is entirely filled with what would be like the general crew quarters. Hammocks upon hammocks, all side by side to one another, are essentially, that plus a couple of segments dedicated to the housing of supplies and the like, are essentially what you would find in the lowest deck of the ship. In fact, because we no longer need this, I'm just gonna get rid of the dynamic lighting barrier here. There we go.
Is there like a box or a chest either in the downstairs room or in this room?
Wait, what were you looking for?
I forgot the box that guy was holding. Is there a box that looks like that in this room or downstairs?
Roll me a perception or investigation.
Let's see. Oh, let's go.
Okay. 21 perception. You notice that off in one of the corners of the room, there actually appears to be something that kind of catches your eye. You see what appears to be this kind of ornate looking box It was all the way toward one of the corner of the rooms, obscured partially by by a couple of boxes. This ornate-looking box with the same sort of like what's the word that I'm looking for? The filigree on it, kind of like the inlays and the like. Seems to be nailed to the floor. There is a noticeable lock on it. Though it looks somewhat different. You believe this kind of resembles the one that Metron had in the dream.
I'll poke at Xandria and be like, hey, does that look like Matron's box? And then I'll point at where the box was. And then... So it's like locked up and like nailed to the ground
it's
too,
nailed
right?
it's nailed to the floor. And there is a visible lock. You're not sure if it's locked.
Okay, and then he said not to touch it, so I'm probably not gonna do that. How do we go about this without getting cursed? But that was like the only thing we like saw of note is that chest, right? Everything else is basically just like regular beds and stuff.
I mean, that's what you find on note in this room.
Okay. Can I check downstairs too, or did we already do that?
Like
think
I said,
both,
downstairs
but-
from this.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely looking for Boy's treasure chest box thing with the souls inside of it that he wants us to get rid of.
Yeah, it looks like I found it, but I don't know if we should touch it because it looks like it's nailed to the ground and locked.
Oh, I forgot to put down other tokens here. I mean, there's still the captain's quarters.
Yeah. Should we check that there too and just leave the box alone then? Or what do you guys think?
What was that?
I said, should we leave Metron's box alone and then check the captain's quarter, or what do you guys think?
I think no matter what, I want to take Metron's box. So I will pick it up.
But weren't we not supposed to touch it though?
It is
Or-
nailed. It is nailed to the floor.
It is nailed to the floor? Jesus.
Yes. I did. It's been a couple of weeks, so I don't blame you for not remembering. But I did when I was describing the box when Metron had it in his hands. I described that there were these two little indents on the side, as if, as if it nails or some screw or something was supposed to fit there.
I did remember that. I technically did remember that at the same time.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Can you hear me? You're muted, Xandri.
Oh, you probably got a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably got a call.
So, well, while we'll resolve that when Xandri gets back.
Yeah, could you just come back to that and then go to the captain quarters instead for now?
Are you guys moving over to the captain's quarters?
I would do it after Xandri did her thing, but for time's sake, should we just move to the captain's quarters for now and then flashback or whatever back to the box when she unmutes?
You can do that. Who are all the ones going to the captain's quarters? Drakgar?
Go.
Derek?
I'd be doing it after we dealt with the box, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with you.
Alright,
Oh,
so
I'll,
Drakgar during...
sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll take Mateus too, so he can help us look for if you can find that magical sword and the armor that was quote unquote in the dream.
Matthias will look at you and say, I seriously doubt that what we saw in the dream applies to here, but I suppose I'll come along.
Isn't there just a box from the dream that's literally right there?
Well,
It's like right there.
yeah, but it's not like this one's nailed to the ground. The other one was being held by the ghost.
Oh, let's go. This one there's a rotten egg.
All right, so you guys just move yourselves over to the captain's quarters at the front of the ship. You open the door, and right away, there's still a slight chill that hits you when you open the door and enter the room. The room looks exactly the same as you remember in the dream, with the notable, I would say addition, but rather lack of the armor post and the wall and the weapon rack, I guess, where the sword was at. I mean, well, the weapon plaque is still there, but there's no sword.
So sad.
So like the rack for it's there, but neither the sword or the armor's there though.
Yeah, like it's basically like for the armor, it's basically like the mannequin where you would put an armor on, and for the weapon, it's the plaque where you would slide the sword onto. But none of them have the armor and the and the sword. Rather, what you will feel, however, is like I said, this kind of chill in the air almost. You notice that on the table in front of you, Drakgar and Derek and Porunga, there is actually what appears to be a bunch of documentation that you believe has something to do with the altars itself. There is what's it called? Papers, a journal, perhaps. At least something that seems to look like a journal. There is as well. How do I word this? At least at first glance, that's what you would see.
We weren't feeling this chill in the previous room, right? Just this one.
What do you say?
We weren't feeling this chill in the other room, right? Just this one.
Yeah, just on this one. In fact, when all of you walk into the room, you will actually feel the chill become manifest a little bit stronger here. Actually, before we move on with that scene, Alexandra, are you back? Alexandra?
What?
I was just wondering if you were back.
I am back. I have no idea what happened. Sorry. I've been dealing with the little kids down at the pool stole my Grubhub order. So I've been arguing with the Grubhub people for like 40 minutes.
Damn. Well, hopefully you get your order.
They're finally resending me the order.
Alright.
But it did take 40 minutes.
Well,
you're hangry. It's fine.
As long as food gets there eventually. You were about to reach for the box that was nailed to the floor, correct? Alexandra?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were about to reach for the real version of Metron's box?
Yes.
Okay.
You said it was nailed to the ground though, and I can't pick it up.
I mean, unless you take time to undo the nails or just open it as is.
Well, I'm not opening it because I know what's in it. So I'll take the time to take out the nails.
Do you have a crowbar or some other tool that would help speed up the process?
I do ironically have a crowbar. I don't know why.
Why do you have a crowbar of all things?
Because she wants to hit Derek with it so badly.
True.
No, I think we got the crowbar when we got the Cyclops. Because we looted and there was a crowbar.
And you were like, I'm gonna hit Derek when they head over these when he's sleeping.
I thought about it. I thought about making that the murder weapon to take out Derek. I can't lie.
It was Alexandria with the crowbar in the thing.
It was Alexandria with the crowbar in the tent.
And I'll just be carrying around the whole time. Yeah, do it.
So, you.
I also have manacles.
I mean, not sure how those can be useful here, but
I'm just saying, if I need to use them on Derek, I will.
But could you make me 2 athletic checks with advantage, Alexandra?
Okay.
Because you're using a crowbar to support part of your strength.
And then, right before I pull, I'm gonna say like a small little, I'm doing this for you, Metron. Hopefully I'm strong enough. I will cast guidance on myself too. And you said which one?
Athletics with advantage. Alright, that's one. Do me another one. Alright, so takes you the better part of a minute to kind of and shimmy the crowbar in such a way that you can then pop two of the nails over to the side. Because the nails no longer being there, you can actually slide the box out of the little metal hinges that it was nailed to, or at least up next to that the nails prevented you from moving before. You managed to slide it out of the corner where it was at to bring it a little bit closer to the center of the room. There is still a visible lock on the on the box. You would need some tools to open it, assuming it is locked.
Do I still have the key from the other world?
No.
Okay. But I was really up close when I was looking at it. I seen it. Can I look around the room for that key?
You can try. No real perception check in here needed, or investigation for that matter. You spend the better part of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe looking around the room, making sure that you something like the key that you saw originally was here. You can't find anything.
Why is Porunga swimming in the water?
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
I actually have like icons for some reason.
You're all the way in the water. I like you. Why? I was like just scrolling back. Like, why is he in the water? He was in the water right now. He was in the water.
It seems Sandry.
Sorry, they called me again. I am so sorry.
That's fine. It seems like Sandry that because you didn't find a key, or rather there doesn't seem to be a key around. You may either need to use some magic to undo the lock, or well, have somebody try their hand the best they can at tinkering with the lock.
Can we break the lock?
It's another option.
Break the soul box, shatter it into pieces.
No, we don't want to break it because we don't want them to come out angry.
Well, I mean, we don't. Yeah, it'd be kind of hard not to hit the box with it. But I
Oh,
was thinking about
let's go ask the rower captain if he knows where the key would be.
Oh yeah, true. Didn't think of that.
Because he's obviously was here around the same time that everybody else was. So let's ask him if he knows where Metron's key would be.
You go approach the drummer, who is still drumming away to the the specters continue to row the gigantic ship that is the Ultros. What do you ask?
Shit, I know this dude's name, but I am so multitasking right now. Row captain, sir, I have a question to ask you.
I am no captain.
Oh, drum master. I'm sorry, you're the drum master. Correct?
What you ask?
There's a key on this ship that opens up a box that used to belong to Metron. Do you know where this key would be?
Metron. The box souls of the damned.
Yes. Those.
The key. Thrown. Lost to the ocean.
Oh no.
That sucks.
Ages ago.
Wait, can't oh, I forgot what that spell is, but doesn't Metius have like a spell that might
I
be able
do.
to break it?
Can I think to myself? I'll go back to the group and I'll think to myself, and I will ritually cast locate object, thinking of the key that I see Metron holding in the dream world.
Ah, no dice. There's
Okay.
no. You don't even sense it in a nearby vicinity.
All right. No, the dude wasn't lying. It's just not here.
Metius does actually have a spell prepared that can help for this. I'll say because this would have happened before everybody headed over to the captain's quarters. Say Metius can actually assist in this regard. He looks at you, Xandri, and says, "Well, I happen to have something that may help us here. It is a simple spell, but a very effective one. If you would allow me to do something."
Yeah, of course. Are you gonna use knock?
Precisely. He says as he reaches into his... actually, this one doesn't even need the components, just verbal ones. He's going to kind of look over at the chest, kneel down in front of it, and you see as he kind of seems to put like a finger over to the lock, and says, "And open," as you hear a click of like the lock being turned. There's a small, almost like pop sound that's where the lid, now unlocked, lets out ages worth of stagnated air from the inside. It's not even open yet. It's just like that little seam that is now a little bit more open because of the lock being undone. Lets out that sort of like horrible smell. Yeah, that seems to have done it.
Alright, so I get ready to prep speak with undead. How long does this spell last?
I believe speak with dead only works if you have a corpse.
It doesn't work with spirits?
Could you put the spell on up in the chat for a moment?
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yes, a corpse of your choice within range.
Okay, it has to be cursed. Just kidding. Well, guys, so hear me out. So, we all know that there is, the undead in here. We all know they're very angry. We know that they were murdered and their souls were trapped in here. So, maybe we should open this up upstairs.
I'll say, Metius, could you put it on your disc thingy just in case? Because earlier he was saying nobody can touch it, and maybe if you put it on,
I mean,
that
I
nobody would get.
would still need to slide it onto the disc for it to be on it.
Oh yeah, true. I could.
I mean, we moved it just now, so it would, to move it closer to the center of the room, and nothing really happened.
Oh yeah, true. You're right.
So I'm guessing it's a problem with opening it. That may be the issue.
Okay. Well, then I guess I could carry it.
You got this, bro.
Hui! I'll pick it up.
You flip, you grab the box. Where do you take it?
And then I'll also hold my hand over the top so it doesn't open up. Make sure it doesn't open up.
Okay. What do you do then?
I'm just gonna hold it until we get upstairs.
I've gotta ask, are you doing this before or after you head over to the to the.
Oh
captain's
yes,
quarters.
I forgot about that. I'll probably do it after
Okay.
the captain
So
quarters.
letting this be for now until you find out what's happening in the captain's quarters.
Yeah. I forgot I was at the captain's quarters. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
actually, that's really smart. Maybe we shouldn't let them free until after we deal with Estor, the whole Estor deal. That way, in case it turns into another battle, we're not missing spells and HP this time.
okay.
The
So all of
question
you, yes.
isn't the box small?
I mean, it's small enough that you can hold it on both arms. You know, it's not like a big, coffer, or like a big chest. It's more like I call it a chest because it has the shape of one, but it's more like a strong box,
Because if I remember correctly, didn't the ghost have it in his hand?
Yeah, he basically needed both hands to like hold it up.
He was looking at it like it was nothing. So I feel like the Drakgar is like, do you really need two hands to hold it? Just use one.
What's it called?
I know it was small.
So you guys head over to the captain's quarters. As I can finally move the camera back there. I already did. You will look over and, well, as you walk in and you notice the the sort of like paperwork on the chest, the documents, the journal, and you once again feel the chill onto your on your backs. It takes but a couple of seconds of you guys being there before you hear something. That's something being what appears to be some form of voice calling out. Now, are you finally ready to take the offer? As you look forward, and manifesting in the chair at the far back of the captain's quarters, you see Estor Arkelander, still sort of like in a spirit. I must admit, you performed better than I expected in the dream. I apologize for that. I needed to make sure that this ship was in the right hands. Now, welcome, I suppose I should say officially, to the Ultras. It is a great vessel, and I hope you treat it with great care.
Of course. She is a very mighty ship. It deserves nothing less.
Of course. Now, what is it that has brought you here? Just to be thorough?
Well, we need a ship to fight some gods, the Titans. There's no point in lying at this point. We have been, I guess, so to speak, she shivers at what she's about to say. Because she is cringing so hard in her gut and wants to vomit. But she says, we are picking up the mantle from where the Dragonlords left off. The Titans are coming back alive, and we're on a mission to make sure that they don't do that.
I suppose that's as good as objective as any.
The Ultros, this magnificent ship, even though she may be old, there are still none like her. So we would like this to be our vessel that helps see us through to the end.
I see. Well, this was once my vessel, as you already know. During the dream, I tried to put your abilities to the test. And before you get too worried, no, I cannot possess you here in the physical realm. Call it a cruel joke of fate, or chances of destiny, or merely karmic retribution. But I am bound to this ship, rue it as I may. I can't precisely, shall we say, do anything to harm the new users of this ship. Other than
Can you,
perhaps... Go ahead.
leave the ship like at all? Like you literally can't get off the ship.
Call it me being bound to it in some way, shape, or form. However, as my spirit still remains within the ship, it of course still answers to my words to some extent. Dead as I may be, I am still here. Insight check his position. What are you trying to insight check specifically, Drakgar?
Yeah, bro.
I would also want to insight
this is-
check to see if just the words that he has been speaking to us so far seem genuine, as he actually, even if he passes the ship on to us, he can't harm us.
He said he was something about he wasn't gonna possess us, and I kind of think that might be a lie, but that's why that's kind of insight checking.
Well,
If that makes sense.
that is a natural 20 on the insight for Alexandria. So obviously you don't trust Estor Arkelander as far as you can throw him. He, even now, you still feel a segment of his words. He's not like giving you the full story, or something like that. You are fairly certain that he might actually be legitimate about his limitations in the material realm. You guys, all of you, well, with the exception of Porunga, being inhabitants to Thylea, you know that the world of Thylea operates through a very specific and rigorous fucking a set of rules and laws. If someone is cursed, then that curse is gonna be there for a while. If somebody has an oath, that oath is gonna be there for a while. You believe, Exandri and Drakgar, that if something has not only turned Estor into a specter, but also bound him to the ship, such an effect does exist, then it must be one that is very strong.
Estor, what bound you to the Ultros?
Uh,
Or who?
Well, that is a story for another day. I can't
well-
precisely tell you all this just like that. Not unless I know that one of you is going to be taking up the mantle.
Well, I believe if we share information openly and honestly, by the end of the day, somebody will take up your mantle. Right now, I just need to figure out the groundwork. For example, if this person is to take up the mantle, do you get to disappear and finally rest in peace?
Disappear somewhat. Rest somewhat. You see, while I was going through your dreams, I noticed something quite peculiar. All of you are very well acquainted with this land. You have made it your goal to find yourselves a piece of the pie, so to speak, and do with that what you may. including bringing a better tomorrow to the world, or so you claim.
What's in it for you if one of us becomes captain?
Closure, so to speak. I, amongst many others, have been victim to the Titans' horrible, horrible machinations. You think I am bad? They are even worse.
Which is precisely why our goal is to stop them. The world's not perfect, and that's fine. But the world is definitely better now than it would be if the Titans were to resurrect and destroy everything
Well,
and everyone.
They are there. They never went anywhere. They merely ceased their activities of war when the oath was formed, or so it seems.
So they're like resting right now until the oath is gone?
Resting. The
Hearsay.
Titans never rest. Nor do they forget, nor do they forgive. Now, where I was going with this is
When
that... Go ahead.
when one of us takes up your mantle, will we never be allowed to walk on land again?
Oh, you definitely will. It's
So we
just...
can't still walk on land.
Correct. You're not bound to the ultras the same as I am. But where I was going with my comments before is that amongst all of you, the one that I find myself the most fascinated with is you. He points at... He points at you, Porunga.
Me?
Yes, you. You
You have a good eye, Estor.
are
That's what I would
not.
choose too.
You are not from Thylea. Same as how Xander was. I pray ask you, what motivates you so to fight for a land that isn't even yours? Is it fame? Riches, perhaps?
He's greedy.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm in it for the money, 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 money.
The riches.
I knew it.
At least he's honest.
So you answer riches?
Yes, I'm actually looking for the Dragonlord treasures.
Well, what a coincidence. I happen to know exactly where that is. For you see, it was I and my crew who buried it somewhere in the Nether Sea. It's the last I heard of it. It now lies somewhere in a massive prison that is meant to contain creatures that even the gods themselves fear until from the dawn of time. I am willing to guide you to this treasure hoard. But under one condition.
And I'm listening.
That you allow me to come with you to that treasure. And allow me to have the first pick at it. I'm only looking for something really specific within that hoard.
Like what?
Something
Yeah,
that truly is... you wouldn't have any use of it.
And what would it do for you?
Think of it as a, shall we say, object of sentimental value.
And what is this object?
A broken mirror.
Broken mirror.
I do not expect you all to understand. Believe it or not, yes, I do have emotions. And this object means a great deal for me.
Who gave you this broken mirror?
Gave isn't precisely a term
Oh,
that
so
I
you
would
took
use.
it.
Found it. Found it ages ago during an expedition. And it has, well, had been with me ever since.
And does this mirror have magical properties?
Not anymore, no.
Can I insight check the fuck out of that?
Yeah, same here.
Sure, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, no. I ain't no shit.
I mean, he's a tough man to read. He seems, obviously he's not giving, well, not even like giving the full story. It's more like there's a clear indication that there's something he's keeping close to his chest. Could very well be because of the fact he said this has like sentimental value to me. So maybe he's not giving you the full story precisely because he doesn't want to appear, like weak, quote unquote. There could be more to it, but it's difficult to say. And as an added bonus, should you accept this request of me? Again, he's been directing his comments mostly towards Porunga. Should you accept this request of me, you will have my vote, if it means anything, for you to be the new captain of the Ultros.
I'll lean over
I'll look
ear.
up her and I'm like, I don't think. I'll just shake my head like, don't do it. At Porunga.
And if you travel with us, that means you don't get to give us any orders, any commands.
I will give you guidance if you request it.
So you're just going to be like the Ultros mascot.
I'll be that little voice in your shoulder that tells you what you should be doing. And for whatever it is that you may think of me, do not forget, I was part of the First War. I saw the dawn of this world. Well, maybe not the dawn of the world, but I saw an era come about into this world. I rode alongside trusted friends and allies on the back of majestic dragons.
Oh, speaking of dragons, do you know where this idiot's dragon ran off to? And I point behind me to Derek.
He looks over at you, Derek. Right. Your dragon. I am sorry to say to you, old friend, that your dragon seemingly disappeared after you did. Chances are it was taken maybe by the very titans themselves. If it's still alive, it would probably be quite different than what you remember them by. Who knows? They may not even answer to the same name.
Man.
That being said, however, the offer stands. Do you
I'm
accept?
gonna
Do you accept?
I'm gonna look over to the group and say, like, what do you guys think?
Don't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Well, we've seen what happens when decisions are taken without the full understanding of the situation.
Derek.
And we've also seen what happens when, well, you distrust me. Make no mistake, I wish to assist in some way. For we all share a common hatred for the Titans.
Out
If
of
you
game
can-
question.
If you can trust something, trust that. What were you gonna say?
Out of game question. For like a brain refresher. He has an oath with my auntie, and only he can break that oath for my auntie, correct?
You're not sure if it even applies anymore now that he's dead.
Oh, okay. My food's here. Sorry.
Besides, I'm not precisely asking for just your opinion. Looks at you, Drakgar. But rather the one that shares a commonality with me. It is, after all, your purpose to find the treasure of the Dragonlords, is it not? Looking at you, Porunga.
Yeah, it is.
Then I don't see why you should disagree.
I'm not sure, but I mean, if it's gonna help find the treasure, then I think I should agree.
I don't think.
Estor kinda floats, levitates off of his seat for a couple of inches until he moves a little bit closer to you, Porunga. And stretches out his hand, semi-corporeal hand towards you. He says, "Then, do I have your word and oath
Don't do it.
that you shall follow this agreement?
Don't do it,
In
Pumo.
return, I will allow you to... Well, I will guide you to the treasure of the Dragonlords, and in return, you will allow me the first pick for this mirror.
I wouldn't trust it, Porunga.
And, as an added bonus to you, well, I suppose it goes without saying, but I will consider you the new captain of this vessel." Now,
I don't know what to do.
Don't do it, Porunga.
I
Don't
look
make
at
the deal.
Puruga, and I'm
Don't
like,
make.
I like put a hand on his shoulder, and I'm like, Estor, when you hand the Ultros over to Puruga, you swear you will not be able to control him in any way, shape, or form,
I would.
alter his memory, or convince him to do otherwise against the party.
he will become, by all intents and purposes, the captain of this vessel. My rights to the ship will be surrendered. And
Yeah.
of course...
We are.
What do you say?
We already know he can possess people. How do we know he's not going to do the same thing to Porunga when he makes this deal?
In truth,
That
you
seems
have no
pretty-
way... In truth, you have no way of knowing. You simply need to trust me.
which I don't.
Of course, with good reason. You probably grew up listening to all sorts of horrible stories about my name. I do not blame you, of course. We all grew up in strenuous times. But if you can trust something, trust this. That the treasure is real. For I have seen it. For I have held it with my hands.
This spear, you said it used to be magical. What did it do when it had its magical powers?
I tried finding that out during my lifetime myself. Some say that it was used to bind some form of a strange ancient creature. But once that creature broke free, the mirror lost all properties. Trust me, I tried to verify this myself, and it indeed does not seem to work.
And once we get this treasure, we will just simply find the mirror for you and give it to you, rather
Well,
than you having first pick.
I shall... Well, if I want this agreement to be fair to me, I will have the first pick of the treasure. Only that mirror, of course. The rest of the treasure you can keep. This, of course, will mean that I will need to travel with you when you go there. I mean, how else will I be able to guide you towards it? Now, I believe the time for rewards has long come and gone. Do I have an answer from you? He does have his hand outstretched as if a handshake for you, Porunga.
Don't do it, Porunga. I don't trust it.
I hope I'm not gonna regret this, but I'm
No,
gonna.
no.
I'm gonna go ahead and go for it.
I'm gonna know. I pull his hand
No,
back.
hold on, Drakgar. What were you saying, Porunga?
I was gonna go for it.
Okay. So you guys see as Porunga reaches his hands and stretches Estor Arkelander's semi-corporeal hand. Your hand almost sort of faces through his, or maybe it's the other way around. And as he's holding you in that handshake, he says, "In that case, it is a deal. One which I hope that you honor." As you guys see how Estor Arkelander's body dissipates.
I knew it.
Seemingly facing into Porunga's. Porunga, you are not possessed. You are not possessed by Estor Arkelander.
He is not, or he is?
He is not.
Okay.
What happens, rather, is that now you feel like this shiver running across your body for a good couple of seconds until you kind of settle down. You feel something strange, as if there's this tingling sensation at the back of your head. You hear Estor Arkelander's voice, Porunga, resonating inside your head, saying something along the lines of, "Don't worry, I am a joy to be around."
I hope so.
Oh.
It's okay.
There's a couple of other things that happen, but I can't say those out loud. I will message them to you directly at the end of the session, Porunga.
Oh God.
Okay.
Juno officially tries to constantly kill Derek in his sleep. Yes!
What score?
Hashtag Team Estor.
So, Estor then remains quiet. From everybody else's perspective, you did saw like the little wisp sort of like enter Porunga's body, but then silence. You may have heard Porunga say something like "sure" out loud, but you're not quite sure who he was talking to.
Are you okay, Porunga? Did anything happen?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Matthews Go ahead, Porunga. Were you going to say something?
I was just letting him know, like, I can hear him in my mind, I guess. If you guys don't hear him.
That doesn't sound good.
Matthias looks over at you, Porunga, and says, I've never seen that happen. I've heard of possession, but that seemed different. I guess this means you're the captain now of the Ultras?
I think so.
And I'm not telling my auntie what just happened.
Right. No, wait.
My
No,
guy
we
just made a
should-
deal
we
with the
should-
devil.
We should tell her, right? I mean,
Oh no, we should definitely tell her, but it is not coming from my mouth.
I mean, if anything, I feel like she would understand it the most if it comes from you, says Matthias.
I hope she doesn't kill me.
I mean, considering you just made a deal with the devil, she might. But who knows? Hopefully not.
Well, I mean, no, can she hurt us? Says Matthias, like, it asks a question. Because, like, we're like, you know, we were the ones chosen by the Oracle, right?
I mean, she probably wouldn't unless something really bad happens, but she does seem a lot more powerful than we are.
She'll probably be avoiding me.
Maybe so, says Matthias. So, unless any of you want to do anything else.
We explored the whole ship now, right?
I go
We got-
skipping out of the hall to find my auntie to tell on Puruga.
Oh my god.
Porunga just made a deal with the devil.
Auntie Kyra! Puruga didn't know.
Green got the best of him.
Just out of curiosity, how do you explain the situation to Kyra?
I just straight up go up to my auntie and be like, so listen. Estor offered everything Puruga's ever wanted to become captain of this ship. He said yes, they shook hands, and he got vacuum sucked into Puruga's body, and now he's just like a little voice in Puruga's consciousness now. And Puruga's the captain.
Kyra, you see what I can only describe as the 5 stages of grief going through Kyra's face, like in an instant.
Oh no.
Sadness,
Oh god.
denial, bargaining. You know, everything seems to just flow through Kyra's head like in an instant, right? And at the end of it, after like what was just a couple of seconds of silence, for you felt like an eternity, she says,
Auntie, I was just going to fight him, but he shook his hand.
Do it, Nabo.
Is Porunga in the room too, or?
no, this would happen away from I would imagine.
Okay.
Kyra says, obviously, you all have your reasons for doing what you do, right? I made sure to warn you of the type of man that Estor Arkelander is, whatever. Your friend, Porunga. Well, I obviously cannot tell him what he can and cannot do. That is entirely his decision. It's just that I'm not sure if it was the right one.
Me neither.
best.
I was just gonna fight him, but like, I mean, it is what it is now. I do have a couple questions. Maybe you can answer them for me.
Just give me a moment.
Alright.
Feels bad.
I count the 10 on my fingers.
What is the question
Great.
that you want to ask?
Okay. So So, let's see. I understand why Porunga did it. I really do, Auntie, because honestly, he has no tie to Talia, like, at all, because he's not from here. And his entire reason for even being here is just for this fortune that, I mean, Estor literally just said he would hand feed him. The issue is, a part of the deal that Porunga took is that when Estor takes Puruga to the treasure, he gets first pick of the treasure. And that he wants this broken mirror. Do you know anything about that?
She thinks. She thinks. She thinks. Broken mirror. A treasure. With the horde of the Dragonlords.
Isn't that half my money? Part of my money?
I don't have anything concrete. I will have to look into this a little bit.
Alright, so let me give you a little context. I asked Estor if it was magical. He said it used to be magical, but it broke. But he always kept it with him and kept researching it. And he stated that the mirror used to hold something very big and powerful creature. And that the mirror broke because the creature escaped from it. So I don't know if that's going to help at all with your little...
It might help narrowing it down.
Just wanna... Because, you know, like, if we find this mirror and, like, all hell breaks loose, like, I'd rather just be, like, ready for it.
Right, of course. I will look into it. But right now, we're, like, right outside the docks of Mitros, so... There, you all should probably gather everybody and head to the upper deck, because, well, I have a feeling something important is gonna happen. I'll catch up with all of you in a moment.
Okay. I give my auntie a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Love you, Auntie Kay, and then I skip away.
Hey,
And then I'm like, Lizzie, come here, boy! And, like, call my lizard to come happily trample after me.
So, you gather your party before venturing forward. And what happens is that when all of you gather at the upper deck of the Ultras, right as the ghostly oarsmen deliver you to the docks, you will, well, obviously, once again see the city of Mitros. Just as resplendent or shitty as it was when you left, but not just that. The docks, as you approach, is an interesting sight, to put it some way. You see a large crowd of onlookers that have gathered at the docks of Mitros, seemingly knowing somehow ahead of time that you would return. You will see as this crowd, rough estimate, probably like at least 100 people, maybe more, probably in the hundreds. Most of them are gathered around, perhaps totally out of curiosity, while others seem to be genuinely sort of like anticipating your return with cheers, screams, and the like. The moment the ship reaches the docks and stops, lays down, a ramp is brought over to kind of connect the ship, the side of the ship, to the dock itself, so that you may move forward.
I play music. I play some music.
I mean,
Derek. But Derek performs music.
Can we get a break?
Yes, give me a second. Because you see a couple of people in the crowd, but one right away stands out to you, arriving in what appears to be a what's the word I'm looking for? A chariot, a horse-drawn chariot. You see who you identify right away, of course, to be Queen Valus of Mitros, as she looks over to you
I
guys.
wave to my other auntie.
She looks over to you guys and says in a loud enough voice as if to announce your presence to the rest of the world. She says, "Great warriors, you have returned." And she gives like this almost sly smile, as if all according to Keikaku. Now, with that, we'll take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll return.
Was this
There you go, we're back. So,
one guy?
you guys have arrived at the city of, I was about to call it the Ultras, the city of Mitros, being welcomed by, Queen Valus, who's currently being accompanied by her entourage of, Amazonian, warriors. Amongst them, of course, Mikaela, her right-hand woman, who seems to be, arriving alongside her in a horse of her own. You guys, she barely has enough time to really get that sort of like first few words out of, welcome, great warriors, welcome back to the city of Mitros. Before, you guys see a large shadow above, and the sound of as the
Gaius with his gay dragon.
as the batting
that's
of wings. No, the shadow is way bigger than anything you've seen the Gaius
Icarus.
dragon, cast. You look above. In fact, the wind that is being batted away by the, flapping of wings, it's actually a bit enough to sort of knock a couple of, well, not knock, but like throw a couple of citizens off balance, as you see above, Icarus, the silver dragon of King Acastus, land nearby, in front of the crowd. Actually, part of the crowd has to disperse before they are crushed by Icarus landing. On the back of Icarus, you see, well, who else but King Acastus himself, as he seems to be, arriving, arms outstretched, being received by the masses, his loyal subjects. He kind of holds that pose of like, hey guys, look at me, I'm the important one, to the rest of the crowd, before he finally turns his gaze to you guys. And Icarus himself seems to kind of shift its body very lazily, as if he could not really care too much about the situation, just enough to give enough leeway for Acastus to get off Icarus's back. He stands somewhat gracefully beside Icarus as he turns his attention to all of you and says, "Right, you're all great warriors indeed, taking command of my ancestor's ship, but if you would allow me to speak, I believe the Ultros is a relic from bygone days. To stand up against the power of Titans, we do not need ancient ships. We need dragons," as he points over at Icarus, as he does a sort of like statement of "we need dragons," and points at Icarus. You do hear a segment of the crowd kind of cheer, on his behalf. He seems to kind of be like really proud of himself for that statement. You do see as Valus more or less kind of takes like a hand to pinch the bridge of her nose, as if she really doesn't want this man here. He looks over at all of you and says, "Though of course, congratulations are in order. Your success has been acknowledged. We saw the ship approach from quite a while away, and so you've gathered quite a crowd, have you not?" He looks over at the rest of the crowd. He says, "Oh, by the way, have you met my faithful companion Icarus. Kind of gesturing at the dragon. He wanted to come.
Is that Derek's dragon?
No, that's the one from his castle, the one that was like sitting in the pile of silver.
The one that gave me a couple like silver, remember?
Oh, okay.
Silver.
I don't think I was here that episode, guys. Remember?
Might have been. Yeah, you might have been absent.
Mind you, this thing is huge. Well over 15 tall in all dimensions.
He's still smaller than Bum Mithra though, so it feels bad.
The Acastus
Bum Mithra was huge.
Acastus says, I am certain that it would have come as quite a surprise to gaze your eyes upon such a magnificent creature. But
Not really.
I've seen bigger.
But
I've seen it.
besides that, I do wonder, how did you manage to make it back to Mitros with no crew? It must take at least 50 souls to row this thing.
Can I say it? Oh no. You want to say it first?
Well, that's a shame on you for thinking that we don't have such capable magic abilities to move such a vessel.
I think.
Kinda crosses his arms, raises an eyebrow, and looks at you and says, if you possess such abilities that will allow you to commandeer a vessel that requires quite a lot of manpower to move, why did you not possess such abilities when first arriving at the city to clear the storm?
Well, all magical capabilities are good in specific scenarios, sir. And actually, we did have the capability to squander Sidon when he was destroying your city, when you were helpless on trying to help your citizens. We just didn't know that we had such capability until later on that afternoon. But we did find another way to save your city, and I think everybody is still doing quite well from it.
I will remind you that you are still within my city. It would do well to remember who you're speaking to. As he says this, Valus kinda steps up and says, well, I suppose the congratulations have already been given out. Isn't that right, my husband? As far as my own set of congratulations for all of you, I will say, though I predicted such a result, it exceeded all expectations I had. In fact, it exceeded the expectations of many, I would dare say. As you can see, you've gathered quite the sizable crowd. They are all here for you, to celebrate this achievement. Our Castus speaks up and says, and quite the crowd it is, as if they knew that this was going to happen in this very day. Interesting. Of course, it's only natural after all. We are talking about the ones that helped save our dear city. Valus, seemingly brushing aside that comment, turns her attention to you guys and says, well, there is one more thing. Well, a couple of things actually. Though I may loathe to admit this, my husband is right in something. You see Acastus kind of give like this expression. Yeah, exactly, that expression of like, ooh,
Wait a minute, I was right? What?
Yeah, like basically.
Like, Exandri has checked out of the conversation. She actually has no idea what her step-uncle has said. She's actually kind of like turned her back and is whispering into her sending stone. Dear fiance, can you please come meet us at the port? We're back.
I am already.
I'm like completely checked out of the conversation.
Instantly, you have a response. I'm right here, my dear. Can you not see me in the crowd? As you turn your attention over to the crowd, you see fucking Sula Nerdagon, in the crowd. It takes you a moment to spot him because there's a lot of people here, and he's more or less like, well, other than his good looks, he doesn't really stand out too much. Doesn't stand out too much amongst the crowd. He's not wearing like any fancy clothes or anything like that you would like pinpoint him by. But you do see him on the in the crowd. He seems to be raising his hand, very high, so you can actually see him, spot him into the crowd. The same hand that, of course, is wearing his own ring. Well, not his own ring, but like a ring of his own to match the one that he gave you.
I smile and wave back to him and be like, I see you. I come closer to the ship. You can come on board and say hi.
Yours.
It's kind of hard to, for him to talk because he's been pushed, to the sides by the crowd. So it's kind of hard for him to give you a response through the sending stone. But he can more or less answer back roughly something along the lines of, I would love to, but it seems you're quite busy talking to the king and the queen.
Oh, I stopped listening to him a while ago.
And like as around you, the time you say that, Valos more or less follows up on her comment of saying, her husband is right. Castus being taken aback a little bit before promptly regaining his composure of like, yeah, of course I'm right. I'm always right. Valos says, the Ultras has seen better days. As resilient as this ship may be, it will need some improvements if you are to brave the dangers of the seas of Thylea.
Well, we got some money in this boat, don't we?
Well,
Said Sandry.
You need not worry about this, for I have already made the preparations ahead of time. That this ship is to be remodeled. And as well, she kind of takes a couple of steps closer, leans in a little bit closer to you guys and says, you will also need another crew. She looks at the ship. And if any of you guys turn around to look at the ship, you notice the last bits and traces of wisps, traces of ectoplasmic energy floating up to the sky from the seams and openings in the Ultras. As if just now the spirits have finally found rest and disappeared. Valos says, there is a couple more matters that I must speak with all of you in private, but for now, I suppose it's better if you rejoice in this victory and accept a couple of gifts from the citizens. As she says this, you see as a crowd of people begin to gather, seemingly handpicked, selected from amongst the spectators by Valos' personal guard, to deliver some gifts for y'all, which we'll get to in a moment. While this is about to happen, Acastus looks at the rest of you and says, well, I must return to attend kingly matters. I wish you well on your journey, but I will say, take care that you do not invite more troubles upon my city. I hope that is clear enough. As he turns around, climbs up on the back of Icarus once again. And yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go Porunga Porunga, what the heck? Go to Estor, come out here and give him a little talking to. Come on, man.
You do hear Estor's voice in the back of your mind, Porunga, say something like, my descendant. The mighty have fallen.
See, I'm sorry. The whole thing when you talk about Acastus was a little like, was trying to get himself like some glory and but like, come on, Estor, come out here, tell him something or something, tell him like, shut up, you little blah blah blah, and he comes out in his manifest form. Everybody gets scared, and Acastus like, wait, what's going on? And it's me, the first king. Shut up, god damn it, that kind of stuff.
The one time I agree with Estor. Oh no, guys.
But like, this is so perfect RP. But I was like, Estor's quiet, but like, oh.
As King Acasus climbs on the back of Icarus and flies the fuck away back to the palace, presumably,
Run away.
you will see a couple of citizens approach in order to deliver some presents for all of you. Amongst them, yes, Sula Nerdigon is there. Let's see, what do we have here?
When he approaches, I give him a big, big hug. Like a pouncing hug.
Sula Nerdigon was actually approaching. He had something in one of his hands, but you more or less interrupt his gift giving with the hug. He returns the hug to you, his body very close to yours, his face very close to yours, as he says, "My dear, I am so glad that you have returned, but I fear that this is just a preamble to us being separated once again. For I am to understand that you will depart on this vessel once it is done being renovated."
Of course. You know that we have a big prophecy on our hands that we are going to fulfill. That way we can make sure the whole world is safe.
But of course,
But we will come back from time to time. And in which I will spend time with you during those times. And then
I will make sure to send messages to you ever so often.
of
For it
course,
is-
but just remember, when we're away from Mitros, please let me send the first message. Just in case, we're trying to be sneaky, we're in a really bad situation. If your message were to come through first, you could potentially put us in danger.
Of course, I would never dream to put you in danger, my dear. I will make sure that the message goes through all the possible channels to prevent any form of ill will falling on your behalf. And, right, of course, I was going to give you and your friends a gift. It is nothing compared to the possible future that awaits us, but should suffice to split amongst you and your friends. He will hand you, under the condition that is split amongst the rest of the party. He will hand you 1,000 gold pieces.
Okay.
Keep my part still. Keep my part as also for a wedding. As his part.
That
wedding
is
ceremony thingy.
him, but there are other people in the crowd that give their respective gifts. You see amongst the crowd of like farmers, blacksmiths, some scholarly looking individuals, you see that in total you're given the following things that will be delivered to the Ultras or other location of your choice at your leisure. 4 goats, 2 white cows, a quiver of 10 plus 1 arrows, 6 potions of healing, and 4 potions of climbing, and 4 potions of resistance that I will roll.
I'm sorry. 6 potions of healing. What was after that?
4 potions of climbing, and 4 potions of resistance. I will roll what type of resistance those are in a moment. Off camera.
Yeah, we get milk, we get goat milk, we get regular milk. It's nice.
I mean, hey, do with those as you will.
Send it to your dad. Quote, go. Send those animals to your dad.
Actually,
The
I think
whole
we should
zoo.
keep them for the Ultros.
Milk.
Yeah, we could get milk.
Food.
Valos, well,
Shut up, we're
Kyra,
not eating these.
Kyra actually coming up from the Ultras towards you guys. She says, "Oh, I'm here. Sorry, I have almost missed all of this. Are those goats?" She looks over to the side.
Oh, yes, they are, Auntie Kyra. They're for you. And I lead the goats over to her and hand her a leash.
Oh, wait. We don't have
I
anywhere.
walk away.
We don't have anywhere to put them in. Oh, okay.
They'll find space for them.
Make sure to give them good names.
So, you know, as with each of these gifts, you know, like I said, there are a bunch of people like come to give this to y'all. Like the goats and the cows were given by farmers. The quiver arrows were given by some of the city centurions, you know, like that, like the guard from here. Potions of healing, and the climbing and the resistance were given by members of the Academy of Mitros. As you can see, they have some form of scholarly-looking clothes on them. After these people are like, you know, passed over and then escorted back to the crowd by Queen Valus's guards, she looks at you guys and says, "There is one last thing that I must give you before we speak in a more private fashion, away from the ears of the crowd." She actually calls for Mikaela, her second in command, and you see as she comes up and she reaches into her backpack and pulls out what appears to be a clockwork device, is the best way I can vaguely describe it.
Feels good.
It looks like a bunch of dials, cogs, and other sort of inscriptions tinkered together into what roughly resembles something like a compass, but there's something to it. You see as Queen Valus kind of holds this item in front of her and says, "This device is known as the Antikythera. It is a device that will allow you to go across the oceans of Tylea in a, shall we say, more ordered fashion. The Cerulean Gulf and the Forgotten Sea, their oceans are vast, and there's many dangers there. Some of your destinations may even seem to disappear and shift across the horizon, a work of the primal magics that still exert their influence in Tylea. This device uses both magic and mechanical ingenuity to chart you a safe path across the seas. Every island in Tylea is attuned to a particular constellation in the sky." She kind of shifts to one of the discs in the device, and you see as it flashes a light on it that seems to vaguely resemble some form of constellation. She's, however, flipping through them fast enough that you can't actually determine what the constellation is. In fact, let me just show you the image of how this thing looks like.
Clock.
That's obvious. That looks like a person coming out of that.
Yeah, the smoke kind of does look like a person, huh?
I'm gonna check. All right, Aromatase is still on there. Use your magic to check that now.
I will identify it in a moment once she's done explaining to us what it does. She kind of seems to shift through the dials a little bit until she finally stops and the whoosh, sort of like projection-like effect disappears. She says, "By simply attuning the device to a particular constellation, it will chart you a course to the respective island that represents it. Unfortunately," she kind of finally stops the device and has her on her hand. "It seems someone has stolen a particularly important gear from this device, rendering it unable to guide you to any island further away from the Cerulean Gulf into the Forgotten Sea."
I don't know. Has anybody looked at King Acosta's pockets lately?
Oh, he is not the responsible one.
Who we gotta kill?
Gaius.
I
let's go.
glare at Derek when he says kill.
Whether
Gonna happen anyway.
Whether you put an end to his life or not.
We will not be killing him.
I suspect Gaius of the Order of Sidon certainly has the piece in his possession. As it just so happens that he departed just yesterday for the Order's headquarters in the island known as the Island of Yonder.
Son of a bitch!
We'll die.
You can still, however, explore the islands that are part of what is known as a Cerulean Gulf, even without the gear piece necessary. However, I am certain that your journey will take you beyond into the Forgotten Sea. You will need that gear piece eventually. At this point, she looks back at her royal guard and she does like a gesture with her hand. You see as her personal guard and a couple of the regular guards that were keeping the crowd at bay kind of begin to disperse the crowd. Move away, move away, move away. Get out of here. Right as she is doing this, she says, I have taken the liberties to begin assembling a crew of, well, important individuals that may assist you in this journey. It will, however, take a while, and they will begin arriving as soon as the preparations are underway. She kind of snaps her fingers, and a group of sailors from the docks kind of come up from the crowd, carrying all sorts of like supplies, wood, building materials, and the like. She just kind of gestures to them to head over to the ship, and they do so. She says, some of them you may already know, others not so much. You will need a seizable crew of people to maneuver this ship. And so, most of the manpower from the crew will be directed for that particular task. But, of course, there's always improvements and things to be done in an embarkation.
Do engines exist in this world yet, or no?
No.
Dang. We just
Actually, Auntie Valis, first off, I want to say thank you so much for believing in us and already getting this stuff prepped because you just had so much faith in us. Super, super appreciate that. It means a lot to me. But before people come onto the ship, is it okay if I go and do something really quickly? I promised someone who used to be alive on this ship that I would do something for him, and I just want to go take care of that before we let people on the ship, because I don't want them to get hurt in case it goes south, type of thing.
I suppose that's fair enough.
It won't take too long. I just need to do a ritual and to properly put to rest some souls that were mistreated when they were on the ship.
Sure. There is one more other set of matters. She kind of looks over now that the crowd has begun to disperse. She looks at all of you and says, I consulted with both the Oracle and my own set of research to attempt to enlighten your paths ahead, if you would allow me to.
Until I said hi?
She looks at you, well, before I continue, she looks at you, Derek, and says, I have a feeling that you will have the chance to say that yourself in the near future.
I didn't do nothing wrong yet, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that's the case.
Oh, thank God.
She is part of the crew that I have assembled in order to accompany you in this journey.
Ooh, you guys can't kill me now.
Wait, his wifey is accompanying us on the Ultros?
Oh no!
You guys can't kill me. Get fucked.
And not just her. I have sent out word far and wide for those who may be able to answer the call. Some of this you may be faces that you already know. In fact, one of them you definitely know. My brother has decided to take it upon himself to accompany you on this journey as well.
Hey, let's go.
Do you bring in the lion?
No.
I mean,
I am not certain about this lion you speak of, but but he has answered my message that he will be accompanying you in this journey. He will arrive sometime over the next following days, once he's done setting everything up in Astoria. She looks over at you, Exandria, and says, "You should be very proud of your sister," and look at you, Drakgar, as well, and I suppose you as well, of your sister in general. She is now, of course, the one that is newly appointed to the throne of Astoria, in King Pyther's absence.
Wait, what? I didn't know. I didn't do the ceremony yet, guys. God damn it.
in my dad's absence, where's Dad?
Oh, like I said before, he will be accompanying you in this journey.
I get to see Dad every day? Wow, this is
The
like one
lion.
big family vacation that I never got. I'm so excited.
Oh God.
You hear Kyra from all the way in the back with the goats. That she has by this point, by this point, she has passed over the goats to one of the deckhands to take care of. She says, "Oh no, it's not a vacation, not a vacation at all."
Dad's going to be there, and I get to spend it with my brother Drak, who I just met like a couple weeks ago. And I'll have Auntie Kyra, and you said Uncle's coming. I've never got to meet Uncle before, and Dad will be there. Oh, guys, the parties are going to be legit when he brings out the booze.
It's not a vacation at all. She looks over at Valos and says, "Should you tell him or should I?" Valos looks at you guys as this becomes a little bit more serious. She says, "Like I said, I've gone over the prophecy that Versi the Oracle has imparted upon all of you. And, well, things are coming to a head.
All according to Cake.
First of all, she will look at you, Drakgar.
Oh no.
I trust you already know who has taken your mother, correct?
I do.
Would you?
A vile Hexia. It is said her lair lies somewhere within the Forgotten Sea. You will not be able to reach it until you are able to repair the Antikythera device.
Okay.
Deus.
And by then, I hope that you are ready enough to face her.
She's better be ready, because I'm going to be giving her a good old butt whooping.
She looks over at you, Derek, and says, "The Oracle's vision has revealed something that concerns you as well. But she insisted on delivering this message herself to you. For now, just know that it is important for your particular side of the prophecy."
But it looks like it ain't anything good, guys.
She...
Go
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Looks at you, Exandri, and says, "You, my precocious niece.
I'll laugh.
According to the Oracle's prophecy, a great future is set out for you. One where glory is restored, not just to the names of the legends of old, but also of your own established group. However, it seems that Versi was insistent on you making your way to a particular object of power, one that supposedly belonged to the Dragonlords of old. I know your feelings on the matter, but Versi was insistent that this item is of the utmost importance."
I understand that the Dragonlords had powerful items. I get that.
Welcome.
But that doesn't make me a Dragonlord. I am a Dawnbringer. I am me. Your niece. Who loves you?
Of course. But this object apparently may be of great use, if you know how to use it. It is said that in ancient times the Dragonlords of old could carry with them their very own base of operation, portable one at that. If the stories are true, this object is in itself a miniature fortress that you may be able to deploy at will.
Get to hide in there, nice.
So it's like a mobile home.
Maybe those are not the words that those are not the words that the Oracle used, but in a sense, depending on
I'm
how,
gonna trademark that.
depending on how and where and when you use it, it will be of extreme, well, use for you. The Oracle claimed to have seen this object somewhere in the Forgotten Sea. To be more specific, she claimed to have seen this in an island that shone as bright as the sun.
Oh, is that that one island that Cassie's having a
Right.
break part? That
Right
really
there.
hot blue dude.
Oh, no, never mind. I think a different one.
Isn't that the island he's on?
Dragon?
What are you referring to?
I can't remember his name because my mind is blanking. Not Gaius, but it's
Chromium guy.
Helios?
is that the other one who was?
The blue guy?
Chandras?
Yeah, Tundris. There you go.
Blue
There
man
you go.
guy.
I was like, his name starts with something else.
Bad guy.
Tundris.
He's a
Is
bad
that
guy.
the island Tundris is on?
Do you ask that question out loud?
Sure.
Wait, what'd you say the island was called again?
And then he told us the island's name. I'm just searching my notes for it.
Balos shakes her head and says, "Oh, you speak of the priest of Lutheria, correct?
Yes.
I believe he has also departed Mitros a while back. In fact,
Yes, he told us to meet us on this island. Insert island name that Exandri would definitely remember, but Cassie can't find it
just
for now.
to throw you a bone here, he said the island of Yonder, which is the same
Yep.
island that Gaius has departed to.
Oh, shit.
Let's kill both of them.
Yeah,
Perfect.
motherfucker.
Oh.
Both of them
fuck.
die. Oh yeah, we both gotta die. I'm
Keep
sorry.
going.
There's no way you can get away with this. No peace here.
She then looks over at you, Porunga, and says, "The Oracle shuddered when she saw your her revision of your prophecy.
Oh god.
Get wrecked, Scrib.
But I suppose if I was to word this a particular way, it seems your destiny still lies within the seas of Thylea."
Brand line.
God damn it. She says, "I believe if you are to reach that which you yearn for, it is also of utmost importance that you find a way to repair the Antikythera device as soon as possible. And
Well done.
it is at this point where I would also say the thing that is respective to Matthias and Juno, but their players are not here. So we're just,
Kelsey.
we're just gonna skip that segment of the story.
Call it the Grand Islands. There you go. Done. Easy.
She will look at you guys just in general and say, and finally, time is running out.
Uh-oh.
Knew it. Knew it.
Kyra? She looks over at Kyra and she says, "Right. Oh man, it really feels like a lot of pressure to deliver the bad news. Whew. The Oath of Peace
Uh-oh.
is coming to an end."
Uh-oh.
More time.
Right, time. That's an important question. At first, me and my sister here, we discuss not telling you the time limit so as to not put too much pressure on your shoulders.
Days.
Just suffice it to say, you have just a little bit over 2 months
Oh, that's
before the Oath of Peace comes to an end.
Before the other
And
piece,
sailing-
what?
The Oath of
Oath of
Peace
Peace
comes
in.
to an end.
Sidon
Oath of Peace
and the five
is
gods.
their oath, correct?
It's the oath between the gods and the titans to the,
Oh.
the ceasefire, basically, between the gods and the
So,
titans.
so
Wartime.
you're telling me in 2
Better.
weeks,
2
Lindsay
months.
Kyra could bust
2
ass
months.
with us?
2 months. 2 months. Well, she said a little over 2 months.
I
Better.
sent a grin in Kyra's direction. Looks like you're part of the crew, Auntie, in 2 months.
Oh, no, I was definitely coming along with all of you. That much was certain. I still need to chronicle everything that happens here. For posterity's sake, you know.
You're gonna make a book and make money. It's fine.
Well, there won't be any money to make if everything is destroyed by the hands of the titans. Let's not forget that.
Grant's
gotta
better
get
get
right.
working on the weapons. If we're gonna be, we only have 2 months left.
Well, you know, if somebody had sent them the hammer of Pythor to make it quicker, no, he just decided to keep it the whole time.
Right.
No.
I mean,
Push comes
no
to
offense,
shove.
brother, but for once in Derek's life, he does make a valid point.
Ah,
And while he
agree.
makes that valid point, I don't see any harm in not giving this back over to you, and I
Just-
hand him the magical instrument.
just as a reminder.
No, wait, no, it's mine. I am the Wind Waker. No,
Kyra says,
you borrow it,
Um,
please, begging.
yes, so Sidon's tower, where he usually has his base of operations, is somewhere out there, in the Nether Sea, or well, not exactly, but we'll get to that eventually. Sidon and Lutheria, they must both be dealt with before the time limit runs out.
Okay.
6 of them.
Or, alternatively, if there's a possibility to renew the Oath of Peace, that could also work. Although, well, you've already seen how that's been going on. The loopholes, the turnarounds, the hoops and jumps that they take in order to not maintain it. Well, they get on everyone's nerves.
Murder.
I go up and I give my auntie Valis a hug.
Murder.
She's
And
kind
then after my hug, because I hug my family members all the fucking time, I will take a step back and I'll be like, Auntie Valis, just have a little faith. We will do our best.
I will. Though you must understand, I fear to think what could happen to this city should the oath come to an end.
Well, how about you don't worry about that until it gets closer to time? And for now,
Murder.
maybe just believe in us a little bit.
Of course. Now, do not let this time limit lead you to rush into unnecessary danger before you are ready. I suppose this goes without saying, but it is wise to gather one's power, however much you can in your journey. With the right weapons, knowledge, and experience, perhaps you can even challenge the Titans directly. Defeat them for good.
I have a question. Is Dad already here in the city, or is he on the way to the city?
She looks up at the sky, the position of the sun. She looks
The wind.
looks at the shadows on the ground. She looks back at you and says, "I would say he is just about here." And you see this cloud of smoke, of dust gathering in the streets of Mitros, as you see this mountain of a man that is Pythor, god of battle, god of strength, kind of rush in. If I was to describe like his run cycle, I guess, if you want to call it that, it's like It's like that meme of the cop that like runs directly to the screen, like the cloudy with a chance of meatballs cop. The
The big one,
Oh my god,
that
that's
cop is like,
awesome.
he just runs directly to the screen.
He's fucking great.
As you see Pythor like appear in the distance, he fucking stops a couple of feet short of all of you. The sort of like cloud of smoke kind of blowing past him to kind of shake some of the dock hands that were just about to start like working on the ultras. You see as he kind of like stops, stands there majestically for a couple of seconds as he says, "Finally, I make it. My children,
I fly at him as fast as I can to give him a big hug because I haven't seen it in a while.
my children." Oh, and you gonna like rush in towards you. He does stretch out his other arm for you, Drakgar.
I will go. Fine.
Do you go to hug him as well, Drakgar?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Don't be-
Says,
I guess it'd be
"My
good.
children, it has been far, far too long. You're not hurt, are you?" He kind of looks over at you guys with like the face of a concerned father.
No,
do anything.
I think we're all doing pretty good. I mean, we had some crazy experience on the ship, but I mean, we're all still in one piece for the most part, I believe. I look at everybody else.
Fine.
Matthews does the so-so hand gesture.
Fine.
He looks over at you, Drakgar, and says, "And you?"
Yeah, I'm fine. We've
Ah,
had
ever the stoic one, my child. You need not to restrain your emotions when your old man is around.
Cry like a
I
man.
lean in and I whisper in my dad's ear. He actually got knocked on his ass twice.
No, I did it.
I whispered it.
He looks over. He looks over like directly in your eyes, Drakgar.
What?
So for a moment you fear. For a moment you fear. Oh fuck! I disappointed the god of strength, my dad. By getting my ass beat in combat. And he says, "Important question, my child. Did you got back up?"
Of course I did. I ain't letting nobody keep me down.
He kinda does like this
Hit him.
this light playful punch on your chest, Drakgar, as he says, "And that's what matters, my child. No matter how many times you get knocked down, always get back up again."
Yeah.
Dad, where's your lion? Did you ever get to meet him?
Oh, yes, of course. I definitely did. An old beast, but one that certainly seems to have a bit more of life left in him.
What did you name him?
He kinda looks at you for a moment, says, "Well, I thought long and hard of some names, but how about this one? I spent all night thinking of this one. Lionel. Yeah, very good, right?"
Yeah. I love it.
I punched my dad in the arm.
I mean, this is good, right?
No,
Already
Dad.
named.
You don't want to name a lion Lion. He's had an old life. Give him a good name.
He said Lionel.
Oh, Lionel? Oh, that's a great
Leon.
name, actually.
Leon,
I
call me
approve.
Leon better.
Yeah, this is good, right?
It's actually pretty punny. That's very punny of you, Dad.
Yeah, well, your old man still has quite a bit of humor left in him. Right.
And how is Sid, our Cyclops friend? And did you see the Minotaurs and help free them?
He kinda looks over to you and says, about that. Well, you see, there were a couple of misunderstandings happening with some of the locals. Though, of course, they do not possess the same hatred for Minotaurs as my Trojans have. It was still a bit hard to reconvene with the idea. You must understand. It's kind of hard to make peace when, throughout most of their lives, the citizens have been told that their ancestors went through some conflict with them. Of course, we eventually managed to work things out, but not without a couple of misunderstandings here and there.
Well, that's understandable. But everything's good after a while?
For now, I hope that your sister can keep everything under control. Your Cyclops friend, Sid, is that how you call him?
Yeah, we called him Sid. We named him Sid. Sid the Cyclops.
Yes, Phobos has been keeping him, very well fed and under a work schedule, so to speak.
Oh, is he making friends and having fun at least?
Yes, kind of. In fact, it's almost as if Phobos has more or less adopted this Cyclops as one of his own.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cool.
And the Centaur. Did the Centaur ever make his way to your place too?
Centaur? Which one?
The Centaur that we rescued outside of the East Gate, when they were trying to fight those soldiers
Freedom?
to the death because somebody
First
died.
Freedom. First Freedom.
Bulldog.
Bulldog, yeah, Bulldog.
Bulldog, yeah.
Freedom one, yeah.
I'm
We got lost.
afraid I know nothing of this.
Oh no.
Crap.
Are you sure you gave him correct instructions to Astoria?
Yeah, I gave him a map as well.
Well, I have yet to meet this individual that you speak of.
Oh, he got captured again. Dang it.
Apologies, my
let me
child.
I close my eyes for a second and I picture him and I send him a message. What was his name again?
Bulldog.
Bulldog.
Bulldog. Bulldog, it's Exandria. We helped free you. Are you okay? My dad never received you in Astoria. We are worried. Please be safe. Bye.
You get a message back after a couple of seconds of silence. You get a message back that kind of goes along the lines of, is this thing on? Yeah. I have been following the map here. It's just kind of a little bit weird. I am, but everything's fine. Everything's fine. We're doing fine. How about you?
I shake my head and I send him another message. What cities have you ran into? Definitely worried. Are you sure you can't read a map?
By the way.
What are your surrounding markings?
He kind of, again, couple of seconds of silence before a response, as you hear on your head. I'm somewhere. There's trees. There was a town like a couple of paces back. There was right now I'm standing in front of a cave.
Oh wait, is that the?
It's there's like a charcoal, like a pile of big charcoal here.
Oh!
That the
I
cave
sent
or
my
something?
last 3rd level spell to him. Billbug, go inside, ask for Vulcan. Let him know Exandria.
Just to reiterate this thing before you finish that sentence. He said there were trees. He passed a town a moment ago. There's a big pile of charcoal outside of a cave. Does that ring
Charcoal?
Isn't that the?
Does that ring any
cave-
bells?
The other cave? Where the first cave we went to?
I'm trying to remember too.
Is that the Oracle's cave?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But
Well,
Oh, come on.
roll me a history.
water, come on.
Roll me a history check, y'all.
Okay, I'm rolling. My brain.
It
I
also
think we
sounds
watched
like
the
it could be the
episode
cave
ago.
that my grandpa's in because charcoal.
His cookie. Oh wow, Drakgar's cookies. You're right.
yeah, my
Exandri, you think for a moment. All right, trees. He passed the town. There's a cave. Charcoal. Yeah, like that kind of catches you a little bit off guard. You run every place you've been through in your journey so far in your head, and you're like, wait, there was a town a few paces back. There's trees and a cave with shark.
Oh,
Is
now
Bull-
I remember. I
Is
remember now.
Bullbug in front of the cave where you killed the
Where
boar at?
Yeah, the Hagon, yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
completely forgot about that. Took a second to
that
remember.
boar.
Because you did immolate, immolate the boar after you killed it.
Didn't do it. Who had burning spells? Did it.
Oh yeah, that was my second guess. Oh, okay. 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 Can we pull up the map?
Hold on. Give me a
I'm
moment.
like, wait a minute. Like, where is he? Go left. You just keep going left. Don't worry. Or go right.
Where is
Check out-
the
Following the boss!
immediate
Turn left,
map of
turn
the
left.
Heartlands? Here we go. Pow.
There's no.
Was the sour vintage?
Oh, I forgot to move you guys back to where you would be on this map. Yes, so fucking Bullbug went too much east. Instead
Going
of,
north. You went east.
yeah, instead of going north over here, you believe he's just kept going in a straight line through here.
You didn't follow the river.
I know, we told him to follow the river. He did not
Don't follow the river. Just keep going east, and go north. But then he just kept he
Okay.
went
Okay.
northeast instead of going north.
My message would be, Billbug, how fast can you get back to Mitros? We have a ship. You can come with us and become our new friend.
Pretty fast, I reckon. Also,
Wait.
where are you? Because I keep hearing you in my head and I think I'm going crazy. Respond. I'm not crazy, right?
Hold on. Let Exandri read her skills really quickly. Channel Divinity.
But I'll see you there, I guess. I hope I'm not crazy.
I will sacrifice my Channel Divinity. I think I could do both to gain back a third level spell, right?
I believe
Yeah, we've
it's
got
is it a spell?
You can extend the use of your Channel.
We're gonna have like 3 melee users and 3 ranged. Or I guess. Yeah.
Man, I'm just gonna have to get everybody sending stones. Like, fuck the whole family.
I mean, hey,
Listen, I need infinite walkie-talkies.
could be a ward.
Go
of
left.
investment.
Every walkie-talkie is gonna have a specific name written on it.
Just be like, I found a tree. Over. And by the.
What's it? While this is going on and they're trying to figure out, I want to ask Pyctor if Theracles had left the city and came to Mitros, because I had told Kyra to send him a message to say you can come to Mitros.
Yes.
While ago.
Theracles, the individual who lives out in the vineyards, yes. Well, the message was delivered. He sadly was in no real position to leave the city at the moment. Mainly because, well, he's already been further away from his child than he would like. And, well, he wanted to spend some time back there. However, he did send back a bit of a message that I don't mind delivering myself. The message went, well, something among the lines of, thank you for everything. We will make, I, however, cannot leave my family again. But send a word out if there's anything else you wish I need to assist in.
Yep.
Can you
Like I
ask
said-
him to make sure he helps protect Sis while we're away? He's a really good guy, Dad.
That we can do.
Oh, then since it won't work, since he won't, then I'll just ask the next best thing. Canna, the god of war, right? Battle war. Was it? What was it? His game?
And his daughter Ashley, she's not too much younger than sister, and she's really, really good with a bow.
That's not the name of Darkness.
I think it was Ashley, right?
No, it was
Wasn't it?
Corina.
Oh, Karina. Okay. Well, somebody along the way that we ran into whose name was Ashley. I don't remember who. Ashley.
Oh, then well, can I ask? Well, Pythor, can you train me in wielding a great axe? Since I learned.
So now you ask me. I jest, of
I
course.
as well use the next best thing here.
I jest, of course. I can train you in that.
Oh no.
But I must
wield
warn you. It'll be a rigorous training regiment. Do you think your body can handle it?
It can't.
500 years
definitely not.
old, but guess what? I'm ready. Pull me through the ringer.
Well, then you're in luck, for it will take a little bit of time for the ship to be remodeled. During that time, well, I will train you. Or if you feel yourself already up for the task, I hear the great games are going to be starting very soon.
Oh, let's go. I'm ready. I'm gonna charm him to death.
That reminds me.
Oh, okay, so that's what we could do, guys. Okay, first I need to go do this ritual. Also, Cassie cannot for the life of her find where this is written, but I know I can spend my channel divinity to get back spell slots.
Yes, I believe it's Harness Divine Power. There should...
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
That's such a weird title for it.
Harness Divine Power, if you find it, just put it in the chat and we'll read it in a moment.
You have all your spell slots already.
I've already used 3 level 3 spell slots.
Oh my gosh.
I was talking to Bellbug!
The level of which can be no higher than your proficiency bonus rounded up. Meaning that...
So yeah.
Yeah, so... so you can
One
gain
channel
back...
divinity now.
Yeah, you can gain back a third spell slot.
Okay, I used 1 channel divinity, gave back a 3rd spell slot, use another sending spell. No, Billbug, you're not crazy. I'm in your head using magic spell to speak to you. Please hurry back. I'll buy you dinner when you get here. Be safe. Exandria.
You hear one final response. Oh, yeah, already on the way. You had me a dinner, though. As he, the way the obviously sending is like a mental response, but the way the mental response came through is as if he was already like on the move, like running back.
He's actually talking out loud as he's responding.
I'm coming. I'm too.
Huh?
Not that you.
Phrasing, sir.
Guys, I'm exhausted. I need another sending stone.
Well, now, oh, actually, this reminds me of something. Are any of you entering the Great Games?
I think
Yes.
quite a few of us were actually thinking about it.
Well, then, it might be better if you go there sooner rather than later. I hear the spots are filling up, and they have athletes from all over Thalia. Some even from the land of Arisha itself as well.
Hey, Dad, I have a question.
What
Are,
that?
like, archers and magical users allowed to enter, or is it just physical, combatants?
The rules change every couple of years, but I believe there is some form of addendum for casters and the like. You will need to look into the details yourself in a moment. I am obviously not allowed to participate because, well...
Win.
Well, Drac, I'll see you in the arena, and I, go to fist bump you.
Heck yeah.
She's gonna lose. It's okay.
And as for you, he points at you, Derek. Now, are you ready to begin your training?
Hey, let's go! Whoo!
In that case, you best be ready. For though
I
I
lean
may
up and
have...
whisper in my dad's ear, please, do not go easy on it. Love you. And then I go off downstairs.
Looks at you, Derek, and says, you must be ready. For do I hail great, shall we say, mercy for mortals. This
Hey,
is a
I'm 500
training.
years old too.
This is a training that will push you beyond your limits.
Limit break. I do it.
Do we really trust Derek with an axe?
It's not your great axe. It's my
As I
friend's
walk
great
past
axe,
my
sir.
brother, do we trust him with his words?
Nope.
Going in all the way.
Valos just kind of takes like one final deep
He
breath.
probably won't even make it.
Valos just takes like one final deep breath. I suppose I must be going too. There's still plenty of preparations to be done. As she hops on her chariot, and you know her personal guard begin to move out with her as well. She says, "When the day comes that the ship is ready and you will depart, I will find you once again. For there may be one more important matter that will come into play." As she departs from here, Kyra looks around and says, "Well, I have nothing better to do, so I am going to be heading over to see how this great game business goes. Actually, no, I can't. I have something I need to do. The rest of you, however, have fun. I will catch up eventually, as I always do.
I look at my LT
course.
Kyra. Oh,
Speed.
where are you going, LT Kyra?
It's it's kind of a secret. Yes, it's kind of a secret that I can't tell you right now. You'll find out eventually. But I have to be. I keep it a bit on the low for the time being.
Alright. Does anybody want to help me do some prayers for these souls we're about to let loose and let go to rest? I would very much appreciate it if I don't do it alone. You know, just in case they're hostile.
Mateus is still
Sure,
here,
why not?
technically, sorta. You know, just on the side,
Well,
sorta.
speaking of which, you.
How is this gonna work? To be honest.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how we're gonna do it. You see as Matthews sort of like seems to like touch his forehead, like almost as if he himself receiving a sending message from someone. He kind of shakes his head, blinks a couple of times, and says, all right. Everyone, I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to have to remain here in Mitros, at least for the time being.
Wait, who's saying that?
Matthews,
Alright.
I think I received a message from the academy, or one of my friends at the academy, rather.
A new principal. Let's go.
I believe they have some matters that they need someone of my, shall we say, talents, assist them with. I know there's still a journey ahead, so this is not a goodbye. This is just a, well, like how Kyra just said, I'll catch up to you eventually. Don't worry, I'm certain there will be a way for me to catch up even if you're out there in the ocean. I mean, after all, this plan is being done by Queen Valis, the goddess of wisdom herself, so she will probably think of a way.
Oh, I think I'm up.
It was a pleasure traveling with you, Mateus, and if you truly must go, I wish you the best, and do work on learning the sending spell. That way, in case you ever need us to return, you can contact us, okay?
Oh, most definitely. I won't stop honing my talents. Because, well, you may one day need me there.
Oh, I definitely think we will.
As he says this, Kyra looks over at Juno as well. Says, "Oh, right. Before I go, you're coming with me. My sister has come up with a very important task that he needs your help with. Well, one of your particular background and skills." Juno looks over at the rest of you guys and says, I mean, well, I guess I can't very well refuse now, can I? And also, between all of us, kind of gestures for all of you to get closer, and he says, I think this kind of works, everybody, because, like, if I stay here in the city, I have, like,
Beat 'em up.
every chance in my life to just go up to this Maximilian guy and just beat him up.
Wait, yes, do it. That's the plan. Whole time.
I'll be like, "You got this," and then I'll
Exandria
give him
looks
my
really
fist bump.
sad because she's gonna look between Porunga and her brother Drak, and then back to Porunga. She's gonna be like, "Oh no,
Missing one
how
more.
are we supposed to defeat the Titans with just 3 of us?"
Q. Man, I wish my wife was here. I
Kyra,
wish my wife was here. She'd be very angry at you right now. I wonder where she's at.
Kyra looks at you guys and says, "Don't worry. Versi has actually seen something else in the future. Or, well, someone else. It's complicated. We'll explain when she actually gets here. But don't worry. Things may look a little bit difficult now. But I am certain you will all find a way to come out on top. I'm sure of that. Alright.
I don't know. I trust her, but we're just losing 2 of our hardest hitters.
Don't worry. Things will get better. They always do. And if you can trust anybody, you can trust me. I am me.
God.
She looks at you guys
Very
and she smiles.
true. You are my auntie Kyra, but you also are very secretive. But I trust you.
Oh, oof. If you
Oh my
think I'm
God.
secretive, you clearly haven't been speaking a lot with my sister.
I mean, this is true, but I've only met her for maybe 10 minutes max.
Don't
I'm
worry.
sure if we did. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, everything will come around. I'm certain of that. After all, what is a hero story without a bit of downs to go to go with the ups? Now,
Alright.
ship will be ready.
Should we free these souls, guys?
Ship will be ready in a couple of days. Take this time to prepare, and partake in the great games if you so wish. I'll talk to you all later on.
I'm gonna con my way to win the games since I'm such good in
You're
Rich,
training.
such a
You
good,
have to win the games.
As
final somehow.
Kyra, Matthews, and Juno depart away from you guys. You guys
Come
are
back,
left with
principal.
a few members down, but with every hope and every yeah, I guess hope is the best way I can describe it. Every hope that you can make it through this next segment of your journey, one that will take you to the very oceans of Tylea itself. What awaits you out there? Well, we'll find out. For now, your immediate concern is who is going to win the great games. We will find that out in the next session.
Not even easy. Not even close.
Eyes.
So,
I'm gonna be in the finals. So I'm gonna pay my way to the finals.
yeah, for
Connor.
those of you who are,
You're training, my guy. You're not gonna be.
for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, yeah, that's true. Well, sadly not gonna be able to have we already didn't have Metis for a while, but now Juno has Juno's player has taken a bow out of this campaign for the time being. IRL stuff happens. That is the greatest enemy of D&D. But we'll be having somebody else join us in the next starting next session, hopefully. They've actually been listening in to this session for quite a while, if they're still here. But we'll see what character joins the party next session. For time being, again, those of you who are watching this on YouTube, continue watching along with the adventures of the Dawnbringers. Keep dropping likes, keep dropping views to follow, and continue to learn what may happen to the party in the next upcoming sessions, where not only will they tackle the great games and see who rises up to the top of the athletes, but also what awaits for them in the Cerulean Gulf and beyond. Whether they'll choose to immediately attempt to repair the Antikythera device, or follow Valos' advice to build up their strength before tackling their their major objectives. We'll see what they choose. For now, that has been all for this session, and we will see you guys next time.